that loss to Sentinels. I think most of us I'd say I don't know if I'd say most. I'd say a lot of people did predict Fnatic to go to that lower run after seeing, look, if you're facing Sentinels, these guys are on point, but this is the first real time we've got to see Fnatic beyond that now. Let's see what they look like after the back of that quite big loss. And something we often said about them, at least coming into this event, was that they do well having to build back in. They're good at learning from mistakes. They can pull this one back off. We questioned whether or not it'd work with these younger players, but at the moment, this is confidence building. We do have the buyback in, though, for X10. It looks like Pattypan wants to get involved.
The two members, actually, drifting all the way around. The flash goes through, though, so both Cruz and Pattypan at least noted in terms of the audio cue there from the flash. On Durka and Mystic really be diligent if they do decide to push through. Elsewhere, three members of Fnatic pressuring towards Garage, maybe trying to pull out a rotation once again. With one flash left, but Mystic able to clear through with close angles should he choose to. And just look at it. I mean, X10 have to respect this. They're backed up so deep, nobody even playing inside B. They're all huddled towards C-Link here, and they're playing so deep on site.
Durka can punish this double stack on long. They know it's there. Yeah, Durka's perfectly read this off the back of that Sky play as well. Mystic does get caught by it, but now Pattypan's trapped. He's trying to get himself out of it. Durka denies, and that's huge. That's how the side theirs. But look at the spike. It's on the way, but there's going to be a bit of timing on this. 30 seconds. Maybe Scary can cut off these rotations, make it maybe manageable for X10. It's a big amount of pressure on him, but they've just slipped away in time. He's lost that window of opportunity. His position now noted, and Fox can't make the play back in on this alone.
I don't even think he can with the teammate. Scary now backing away wisely. I mean, at this point, you gotta hold on. X10 has to get something going. And even in the rounds early on there, like I said, Mystic finds the audio cue off the flash to note that somebody's on long. And they're given so much time and space for Durka to move through sewers. It's almost like just like not respecting the Viper setup, right? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna walk. I'm just gonna walk it. And the problem being, I mean, Fnatic are barely investing any utility in terms of stalls. So once they're getting onto site and getting these plants, the retakes are just rough. Like, it's always with the wall. I mean, even now, look, Doma's still got the wall, right? So even if they didn't find these kills, they'd be able to get up, set up comfortably on site. Nobody can contest the wall before it can reinforce it. It's just, when you talk about this sort of composition having so much stall on defense, the same applies for the post plants here.
Spot on. And this is going to be the question mark that we put to whoever makes it through the lower bracket. Is, I guess it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Fnatic are bounding back here. This is what, 6 in on the trot now. And we haven't quite seen the reply yet from X10. They've tried a couple of switch-ups, getting aggressive on the extremities. None of it's paid out. As you highlighted perfectly there, this is where they've got to stop it now. Otherwise, again, the buffer's going to be so slim, so marginal to work with on that half switch. It's going to be very hard to bounce back into it. So we've got to see a little more from them. Fnatic still, though, going through the motions. They've definitely had the run of A, but it looks like a switch-up's come in.
That's going to play a much deeper setup. With Sushi Boys rotating over, I guess on the back of having that lockdown, which has been online for a while here. I've got a highlight.
Jako bi volao da posle pobedi Liquid, ljudi, ono, znači dva tima iz Evrope idu dalje, ono.
With this readjustment, hopefully that's what we're going
baš
to
bi
see.
volao da pobedi tim Liquid, znači.
Another set piece
mora pođemo bolje nego
Amerikanci, ono.
utility
involved.
Moramo, znači. Jednostavno moramo.
They're going to come all the way up onto site, and Fox actually will find Doma and Sewer here, but side control in favor of Fnatic comfortably.
178 level.
This does give it a little bit more leg towards retake at least. Fox can be a nuisance, can be a problem. Magnum really wants to dig him out of this, and I don't think Fox is aware of it. No, he's not at all. Magnum finds him. Ult can go down if wanted, trying to get that timing just right. Seeker's going to go through, and X10 were postured for this. Both ults coming in now.
Yeah, and again, Magnums has gone down later, so there's nothing X10 can do to close the distance. Durka actually is going to ride it out because he knows. Again, the second lockdown should protect him. Scary will find one. Actually, a man advantage now as a 2-for-1 trade comes through. Mystic going to respond.
Možete vi to. Aj Mystic I Magnum su bogovi, ja ne znam, verite, oni su bogovi.
He's banking it on being on Suo, but he's not. He's on the close box. He gets down Magnum, but time now. How do you dig the final player out. Mystic just has to play the clock. The shoulder peeks in, the jump peeks there. And he's done more than enough with just that little bit of movement in the end as X10 once again gets so close. It does not matter. Fnatic win the round. It's 7 on the board.
7-3, braćo. Borna, hvala ti još 50, ali lud jebote, šta ti ono?
X10 can do differently there. Like I said, it's just such a good execution from Fnatic. Again, they isolate Fox. They know that they have enough site control where they can invest 2 players literally to just go hunting. And there's no counter pressure comes through. Nobody is able to push through because they're setting up those lockdown. The call right there from Sushi is, no guys, wait, I've got lockdown, stay in A-Link. We don't need to come through and challenge. So it's almost like Fox, even after first blood comes through, he said to the Slaughter, there's nothing they can do to keep him alive.
No. And you can see the money. Again, the economy's been harsh for X10. Even in the rounds, they've been getting close on not getting away with guns, no benefits, but Pattypan trying to make the difference. Sheriff by the side, expecting the swing from Doma, but he can't deal with it. Crusoe pounces, good work. Spike now dropped, aggressive burst comes out from X10. Maybe that's what they needed. Magnum turns the flash and turns the kill, gets Cruz down, tries to convert towards Garage as well, but it's a mad battle to retrieve that spike.
Makaki, Fnatic, oni strašno igri,
and he's, oh no, only one, a couple
of
missed knives going astray, leaves Dirk with the chance now to close out.
Brate, 3 noža na lik koji stoji u mesto. Ne znam, brate, sam da
Scary was going to come through and try and find a weapon upgrade, but
hvala ljudi na konfetama I na mani.
He hasn't. He actually respects it. Backs all the way up onto C site. Dirk are going to have a free plant here and an opportunity to play very, very aggressive. All the time in the world, and Scary's still on C long, Lauren. It's going to take so much time for him to come through. He's going to be running. He's not going to have time to walk here. This is all playing into Dirk's favor.
Ljudi, lik je overavao upravo mid. On je overavao mid.
Divide coming out.
Yeah.
Durka now needs to kind of play without the audio cues, but it doesn't seem to matter too much, at least to this. Scary can get close towards the site, and Durka going to take the time. He spotted him. Durka's just going to play him like a fiddle. This is nasty work. Play it out, dips in, does have a look. Scary, great work, but he doesn't have the time. He tried the best he could. He gave it everything he had. But in the end, Durka just played it to the second.
Dobro ispalo, pazi. Jer stvarno nije imao vremena.
Just toying with him, with that divide going up.
Ja ne znam to.
You gotta say again, it's,
ja sam mislio da ima vremena.
That divide going up almost gives Durka a secondary layer of, you know, playing.
Borna, hvala ti na hamburgeru. Dobre, dobre.
It's a really tough round to watch. I mean,
ovo je 2-0 za Fnatic.
Unfortunately misses the first.
Ali ipak je ova tek side mapa, a vidjet ćemo sad kad se promijene strana. Samo od sada, ako Fnatic uzme još jednu, ode na 9, uzmu pištolj rundu, to je to.
9-3 on the half. Decent purchase coming back in though, it's the only saving grace really for X10
Toplak na 300 eliksira. Hvala Toplak na 300 eliksira.
Full take in that, but great pick, denying Durka freedom. 4 would be a gateway, it would be a start, it would be enough to
1-0 I 8-3, da. Frezo, gledaj Discord.
Maybe what they need here. Magnum going to build off the back of that flash, going to at least force him back for a second. No, good work again from Sushi Boys here. Nice punish on Magnum. He knows more pressure could be coming through towards Garage, so going to go for the adjust back around towards the C site. So far, so good. Ticking the box for X10.
Well, they readjust here. Expecting, or at least Scary expecting, for Fnatic to maybe pivot away, and it's Boaster. Always the one that lurks into B. Doma's posted up outside though with him. Will go through. Gambles correctly, and Doma with a perfect counterbeat. Scary will be very, very careful now.
Borna, šta je vama danas, bre, ljudi, ono, Borna, Toplak, Spori, ono, šta mi? Hvala puno eliksirima, ljudi, hvala na supportu, stvarno. Stvarno mnogo znači.
They do start to build towards that B side. Scary isolated a little, but now he's got pressure from both fronts. He's going to be boasted to punish. You're going to have a look down towards the C site. Connector now controlled to an extent. Mystic with a quick plant. Fox on the way, but 3 players on the playback. Always tricky to play retake with ops, but let's see what Fox can do. Opting for the rifle above it. Both still at the back of site, being a nuisance, being a pest to try and clear. Fox needs to find a way in. The double stack as instantly comes around. Mystic doesn't allow it. Pattypan tries it. This is a shutdown for Fnatic. maintain large and supreme. This is just them in control here.
Yeah, nothing that can stop them. Really, really convincing. Even the rounds that, again, right there, X10, they get their big win condition, right? They deal with Durka in the early round. They find the first blood, and Fnatic are able to just completely control the pace of that round and swing it back in their favor. X10 are kind of itching to make a move throughout that round, and Fnatic able to just exploit that. Look at that. I mean, other than we could talk Fnatic and pistol rounds another time, but come to round 4 onwards, and it's dominant.
Mislim da ovo GG ljudi. Jedno čekam da gledam Liquid, evo verite mi.
They picked up the first 3.
Moramo da navijamo za Liquid, znači.
Tuning in, it was a good start for X10. Maybe a little bit of hope that we had managed to find.
Sa 0-3 na 9-3, da. Ljudi, ako stvarno možete, stvarno bi mi bilo drago da bar ostavite stream ako vas ne zanima Liquid, ono. Znači, bar da ostavite stream na trovo, da radi ništa više ne tražimo od vas. Baš mi ono, trebaju mi sati, baš sam gusto. Pošto neću da dobijem invite za Diamond ako ne skupim 38.000 sati, ono. Tako da, mora da se proba. Da, moramo, znači, EU bolje ne, mora da bude tako, znači. Pazi, V1 je ispod danas, od Koreanaca. Tako da samo Sentinel oni sad imaju, je tako?
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen a couple of things we highlighted.
A mi u Aperu nemamo nikog, vrat.
U
Overu imamo i Fnatic i Team Liquid.
Really, I gotta say, you know, as well, Fox having a fantastic map 1. Look to him on Haven to do some real work on the Jet. That hasn't worked for him. Again, good opportunity here with the side switch for maybe that to become a possibility. But I just also haven't, fundamentally, I haven't seen enough from X10 where, you know, there's utility to back up that front line. Like I said on Icebox, time and time again, it's just not being invested correctly.
I'm with you. And see the juggling going on. Hand warmers everywhere.
These spirits are still high. Come on,
it's hard to not like X10 as a team as well. They've come in and had... I mean, the win over, was it Crazy Raccoons to get to this point as well? Was pretty solid. And Crazy Raccoons pushed, who was it? Version 1? I believe so. I mean, they've played well, and it's not over yet. There's a whole other half to play out, and it's round by round, right? Kill by kill, step by step, it can always happen.
Čekam, a da, ove vike su granci, ali ono, svejedno, trebaju mi sati, razumeš, ono. Ja verovatno stižem zbog granca, ali ono, ne želim da rizikujem da moram da radim neki 24 sata stream ili tako nešto, ono. Zato ja i pitam vas da vi ostavite stream i tako, koliko možete, ono stvarno znači.
And it's going to be an arduous journey, but they've kept it clean so far.
And again, I mean, one of the terms I used before this series started was Fnatic come back to their comfort zone, and this is when we see them play best, right? And it's kind of crazy to think that, you know, there are a lot of things that went wrong versus Sentinels, and having those early fact-finding rounds that, you know, I want to say investing Durka as a whole, as his own entity, right, to kind of try and figure out Sentinels. Right here, they can invest him time and time again because he's finding kills. They don't even need to look to that secondary layer of, okay, how do we adapt based on, you know, what happens with Durka, what happens with Mystic in the early round. There's nothing. It's just he's finding value left, right, and center. Everything they do, even if it goes wrong, they have the contingency plan and they're able to follow up on it and convert.
And I just see Boaster. I'm just waiting for the next clip to make it to Reddit. I'm just like, every time I see a camera near him, I'm like, okay, what's he gonna do now? The guy constantly putting on a show, but it does seem as though there's just like a couple of tech issues, so they're going to be hopefully picked up and fixed as soon as possible.
Do you know what? There used to be something where we just put Patty Pan and Boast it in a room and just
see what happens.
Film it. Yeah.
And I love the fact that we have players having fun. I mean, this is highly competitive, right? Tournament life on the line, all of this, but you get to see the personalities behind the players, which I'm going to say some esports really don't have. So it's kind of cool that in Valorant we get to enjoy that. We get to see it from the very first tournament. Some of these players.
No, I saw
just putting on a great show. I love it.
I saw a discussion of somebody. It was almost like like an arena studio appreciation post. It was like, I'm so glad we have the players facing each other. And you know what? I actually thought about it. I was like, yeah, fair point, actually. How many times do we see it where it's just a bank sat up next to each other? You know what? Some of the player cams have been fantastic. Thank you, version 1. But just even this being the first kind of cross-regional, to have this environment as well, it's fantastic to see.
It really is. It's been an incredible event so far, and we're not even towards the real pointy end of the stick, I guess you could say. That's the big part of it. Yeah, there really is. Between these two, though, it's one of those games that's, being brutally honest with you, hard to kind of find depth in because Fnatic are performing on a higher level than X10, and there's no need to sugarcoat the pill. We're, you know, we tell it how it is, and the win conditions for X10 are pretty vast at the moment, and they need to hit them fast. But poster, any more clips?
That's the secret handshake, right?
Here we go.
Oh, wait. Oh no, we're back in game. That was a sit up straight. We're back in.
I do get nervous. There's a classic thing, right? And we'll let you guys at home in on the secrets because we're filling time. When you see players like put the chairs back, headsets are off, you know it's going to be a long pause. And I get nervous. If headsets go off, instantly danger. Because you know the admins are normally straight on them like, put your headset on. But it does seem as though, look, I'm seeing like postured up, they're leaning in. Here we go. We've got the screen tan coming in. We're back into game, and it is 9-3 still on the second half here. Fnatic with a dominant performance to begin with. However, the pistols have been a problem.
Ja me. Brate, umro ovaj nuba.
Will fall off the rip here. A swing out of double doors.
Svakako ko ne gleda je pička. A ja prati da ne gledaju ljudi, samo naš da radi s tim.
And actually, the turret going to get dealt with, and it's 4 coming up long here. Magnum got a lot to deal with. We'll find the first, but will be traded out by Sushi.
Durka's going hunting, and the timing could be just so perfect from Scary. Just turns around. You can see it knife out now. He's just trying to close that gap, but Spike is going down. Now he's got good positioning here. Now Scary's going to at least consider this. Yeah, turn, good timing there. Spots out the utility coming from corner of sight. Spots one on the site and knows that Scary's there. That's big information garnered just from Durka, but he needs Mystic and Doma to do some work from CT. But look at this post-bomb positioning in Garage.
Should lean away from that again. 1-for-1 comes through. Sushi will find that. Doma will respond. Good opportunity. I mean, he just needed to catch Sushi there, but he's going to find one more. Durka falls. It comes down to a 1v1.
Sushi boys. He's tried to play the timing. He does it so well. Excellent round from him to claim the perfect start for X10 going forward.
I think Doma still had the wall there as well. Again, difficult in that 1v1 situation to get it down and find value from it, but potentially if he has a little more time and space with Durka not falling, Doma could have set up that wall when really, really difficult to break that through that. Fantastic round from Sushi Boy. They're finding that initial trade on the entry up C long. Good work from him. Again, clutching out this 1v1 as well. Nice little 4-piece from him, and another pistol round slips through Fnatic's fingers.
Feels Fnatic, man. I mean, welcome. What are you gonna do? For now, it looks like a little set trap towards C, just stacked up, right? Just off the back of maybe some contact and a pop flash from Mystic, potentially. Boaster gonna try and bait him in. I don't think... I hope they're not gonna fall for it. Nah. Bit of a laboured spray, but Cruz will convert towards Boaster. Don't make me nervous, Fox.
Pravi svi Kinezi.
Okay, thank you.
Pa nisu, ili jesu, a?
I was like, I think he's low, so I'm just gonna
Nemam
send
pojma
it.
šta su, brate, oni.
This whole time, oh no.
Hahaha.
Spike.
Naš je Spike, brate.
It's okay, Fox is still alive, it's okay.
Doma je živ, samo i Magnum.
Gonna hear these steps. A lot of players coming past. They don't check it, Oh god, he gets one. Okay, it's fine. It's still fine. It's still all okay. 35 seconds and Doma is gonna be on the site. Now keep in mind, one of these players is pretty far away. That's for... Oh, no way. Doma! 1 HP in a dream. 25 seconds in a 1v1. Jet is on the way. Fox is trying to come over. Patty Pan up and over he goes. Finds Doma, and it's all gravy. It's all good. There's never a problem. There's never a problem, Hypok. Don't worry about it.
I glanced up to the minimap and I was like, Fox is literally in Narnia right now while all this is going down on A site and he's only 30 HP.
Okay. It's okay.
Well,
Deci je žoblo, čao, brate. Ne, ja sam rekao, ovo je tek side mapa, ali evo ovo je sad bitno, znači.
series.
Ova runda je ono sve što najbitnije,
X10 did have a
bukvalno.
stronger attacking half. So, let's hope they can
Ima jedan lik
continue
nema
this, build a
pušku.
little momentum in the early rounds.
Nema, znači oni ako ovo dobiju, brate, sa SSG-ima, ja ne znam onda. Ne znam što da kažem, brate.
Right off the rip.
A, brate, ja uzi death kill, to je to, okej, 10-5 je ovo. Evo, kola vam. Ne, doma je lov. Šta je lud ovaj lik, brate?
Mystic with a good trade, but now he's going to be controlled towards the site itself, but gets himself out of it. Now, they've lost that timing on
Njima je 3 lika već ovdje, ne vredi da ulazi tu na sajt. Bukvalno ne vredi ono.
Cruz is going to back away from this.
Mystic going to get a little more information off that. Again, this was
ljudi nisu to Koreanci, pa pisalo bi Koreja ono.
on the side of X10 here.
Prošle game su igrali Koreanci.
Weapon advantage definitely in Fnatic's favor.
Bar ja mislim tako.
Flash goes out again.
Po najbolji Fnatic od igrača, pa Derke ono. On najviše pop-offa.
Oh, actually, here comes they don't check that Cruz though.
Ne, neće ona.
We'll find Mystic.
Oni znaju da je ono ovdje, šta? Kako su lijepo ušli na side. Bravo, Magnum. Ok, reći jedno. Doktor, brat. I? To je to, bravo. Ok, 10-5. Lijepo sam rekao ja.
I felt they could have done even maybe more with that, even though it was a bonus round. Fnatic are going to get to 10.
I mean, with no information on where Dirk is, it defeats me why Scary doesn't stack up and just hard clear Boaster. They know that they tagged him up on the cross. They noted that he went towards long. I don't get it. I don't get it. A little bit of a misplay there. Maybe the pressure really piling on here in map 2. Again, they're fantastic for the clearance on the way in. Yeah. And again, on the back of that flash, again, similar situations to what we saw in the first half, right? No audio cue off the flash, and they swing immediately on it.
This could be a straight walk. Oh no. Durka, this terrifies me. He starts getting a little frisky. You get nervous, yeah, he's trying to re-peek into that box, absolutely denies
da, vidio sam žoblo da si
pravio. Gonna quickly take the space that Durka was trying to play with, and he's actually gonna push further on. That's pretty nice from Fox. That's a lot of room garnered. Yeah, Magnum has no idea. Boaster could even be predicted. No, but he does stay alive. But great damage from Fox there off the back of some good space. But doma!
To možeš da radiš 3 puta nedeljno, bro. Ti sa tim možeš u Silver da uđeš svaki mjesec, brate. Znači to radiš 3 puta nedeljno cijel mjesec, brate.
Seekers come out, reveal Boaster's position. He reads that one wrong, unfortunately. Gambles on the wrong way. Mystic, the last man standing here, and X10 on the brink of actually putting up a nice round here. Mystic will find a consolation in the form of Cruz, but quickly traded out by Patipan now.
Valjda ću da stignem da uđem u jebeni Diamond, jebem u život, ono. Morat ću ponedjeljak da se budim fazom u 7 ujutru i da pravim box za cijel dan da budemo recommended. Vidjet ćemo.
I gotta say, even with 2 surviving there, it's not as clean as you want. For X10 to really build any sort of buffer here, they need to be coming through and winning flawless rounds or only losing, you know, 1-2 players max.
Ništa posebno. Pravio box.
Yeah, look at this.
Imaš u nastavu sve koliko mi treba.
2 away from the cosmic divide.
Ma ništa, žoblo, vrate, try ja ću tu da pomognem,
And Dirk has done that to them. They've taken away Fox, okay, but still, keep in mind the other 4, all rifled up, geared up, but they have no
stvarno volim da pomognem ljudima za koje vidim da se trude, brate, znaš ono. Ako se već trudiš da streamaš i sve, brate, zašto da ne, ono. Ali ne oni ljudi što mi dođu ili streamaju stare streamove, brate, ono. Ili ne znam nija šta rade, ono. To ne volim, brate.
Follow up on this just yet. It's a little late, if I'm honest, to come through. Hopefully doesn't get punished.
Who's that in garage? Is it Patipan?
Yep.
That's pretty big positioning.
A, vidjet ćemo dušku.
If he gets this right, there should be no problems here. Fnatic maybe looking just to try and do some damage, get these guns away at this point. Seeker's going in as well. Okay. Patipan's position kind of gets a little bit of its efficacy removed, but it's dealt with in the end. He does a little bit of damage. No way, Doma, don't be doing this. No way.
Doma God.
He's sticking this one. No one's taking him up.
Hahaha, ne znaju.
He's getting away with murder. He gets taken down. X10 having to put everything.
Ne.
He sits in.
Ne.
Oh
Ko je sranje, brate?
It was close.
Zamisli, brate, tu mi je falila sekunda, brate. Hau, 10-7, brate. Jel ima pare sad Fnatic?
I mean, and that's on the back of, I gotta say it, you know, Sushi Boy's gotta be the one, and I understand it because the lockdown is...
Brate, po mojoj računici, ja ću u subotu da dobijem 2000 sati, minimum. U nedelju ću da dobijem isto 2000 sati minimum. Tačnije, dobit ću po 2500, sigurno. To je 5000 sati, razumiješ ono? Tako da ono.
It's a little weird to see. I mean, it doesn't end up being a factor there, but it's just these small kind of adjustments that I want to see with the utility and positioning from X10 that just makes it feel a lot safer. Because even there, they won that round. My God, was it close? My God, was it close?
And you're right, like we've seen, you know, with the Astra ult coming in as well, like coupling it together, what can actually happen. So
Zamisli, ovi svi ljudi neće da dobiju invite za Diamond. Svi ovi, alo, to je 34 čoveka, brate, neće da dobije Diamond, brate. Ja ću da dobijem zbog Fortnite i zbog Granda, ali oni neće. Nije mi ništa jasno što radi ovaj trovo, brate.
It's a round on the board, right? Let's kind of roll it back to what it is. Looking at the second half, it's now 4 rounds garnered. 1 response from Fnatic. Yeah, we know what pistols are like, but these are now gun rounds.
Pa da, ja hostam solo cash cup ono preko dana, a uveče su granci. I onda FNCS Grand Finale. Ja ću i FNCS da gledam Grand Finale isto. Tu preko noći očekujem bar 100 ljudi na streamu. Pa brate...
I mean, ultimately, economy-wise, to break that momentum and go...
Čak nije jasno, to je bilo očekivano, šta to čiha? Po 13 sati ću da streamam, u subotu 13 sati i u nedelju 13 sati. Opet ću za jutra biti budan čije piješ kavu ovo vreme. Ja sam popio, brate, i ovo sranje pred sat vremena i sad pijem kafu. Baš me sad razbudilo, evo nije mi dobro, pun sam energije. Evo, znači, veruj mi da mi sad trenutno nije dobro, brate. Kao da sam ne znam nija šta uzeo, brate, a ne kafu.
I'm getting excited, HyperX. We actually might get a bit of a game. I was a bit worried after map 1. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Streamaš i... Da, i ene isti evo granču, ja gledam, da.
A couple of rounds to get back to that position, right? And you talk about when you have such a huge lead.
Jel imaš vremena Mara odeš do grada nekad ili ćeš zauzeti svaki dan? Pa evo, pa bio sam tipa sinoć posle streama, ono. Bio sam prošetio sam se, uzeli smo nešto da jedemo u centra. Danas sam bio do Lidla, pazarili smo. Jebote koliko sam para potrošio od Lidla, ljudi. Znači, Stefi i ja smo otešli sa 50 evra na kartici. I ja kao, ajde skinemo mi s Paypala za svaki slučaj, ne znam šta će sve da kupimo, pošto smo otišli baš da pazarimo, da napunimo frižider, da kupimo sve i svašta. Mi dođemo na kasu, ja na kartici imam 80 evra, a račun 90, brate. I Stefi uzima brzo telefon da mi šalje snine kartice na moju pare. Morala je žena da se čeka malo da stigne da platimo, brate. 10.000 nam bio račun u Lidlu, brate. Ja ne znam šta smo mi sve kupili za te pare. Mislim, ajde, kupio sam 5 pare gaće za 1000 dinara. Kupio sam i majicu šako u Lidlu, ono neku. Ali sve jedno. Znaš da je bečaj, pa znam. Jako mi vruće od ove kafe sad. Ja sam došao trčanje blagoslaviti, to je to. Čekaj da otvorim, brate. Ali nije, kad pogledaš, znaš, ja sam kupio te gaće, kupio sam ovo, Stefi kupila isto neki šorac, to je već 20 evra, znaš ono. Kupili smo kokice za mikrotalasno, ono, 5 pakovanja, to je isto 10 evra, znaš ono. Ma brate, ja imam da jedem nedelju dana sad, ne treba mi ništa ono. Od grickalica kupio sam samo bele semenke. I indijski orah sam kupio. Ti si toplak bog je, znaš? Moram dođem sad. Nisam vidio što se desilo. Doma klaču. Nisam, jebe, čekaj brbe.
the cogs turning for Fox. He's like, when do I reveal my position here? When? But doma, absolutely perfect. Coming up huge for Fnatic to stop that one. And do you know what as well? The nano swarm, it almost makes it, what was it, 1.1 seconds?
Yeah.
If that nano swarm's just a little later, it keeps doma off again.
I mean, this is the margin between these two right now. This is a second's difference. A couple of choices, a couple of ults coming online as well now for X10, so make note of that. And Boaster going to post himself up. It was Durka getting Aggie in mid last time. Boaster this time going to go for it, but already losing out. Mystic, really nice mid take coming out from X10. They seem very well prepared for this now after that last dabble of aggression. They've been winning out on this first step, but there are plenty of players from Fnatic here. Magnum in the ult with Pattypan. Doma up on top. Divides there. This is a heavy invested round. Magnum does get the better of Pattypan. And now this is where the pressure starts him out, because look at where the spike is. Over towards that C side, and Durka's on the other side. Sushi Boy's waiting just more in a traditional spot. He's going to step this. Yeah, Seekers go out, but he couldn't quite get the shot as cleanly as he wanted. A trade was there for Scary. And now the 2v2. Magnum. Brilliance, but now Fox called upon.
Doma,
against Doma. Tries to catch him early. The slow's there. The tag comes out. The spray for Doma again. Big Daddy Doma clutches this one up out of the chair, in the faces. Fnatic making it onto 12.
Back to back for Doma. Putting 2 huge rounds on the board here. Fnatic on 12 on map and series point. Massive stuff from the youngster.
Žali mi se juče da nema gaće.
And again, everything goes right for X10 now. I feel like this is such a good hit. And they pivot away from the aggression perfectly. Magnum finds Pattypan. At that point, they have to respond quickly. They have to readjust.
Evo ga, Doma je usto prima da vrišti.
Like I said, they do everything right there.
He's out of the chair. He's loving it. They're on 12 and X10.
Pa kaže i ona, ne Doma usta.
These have been clutch. These have been individuals just kind of closing it out. But this is an A piece we haven't seen in a triple stack on Sewer.
Yeah, it's not typically how we see Fnatic pressure A lobby or fight for control here. Definitely a little different, but already Durka coming across here. It's going to be a 4th.
GG already.
Comes in as well. Durka on the other side of this, going to see him above it on the wall going up. Doma going to back away now. They've done as much as they can in the time they had. Mystic.
Oh no, Mystic can stay.
He's got a bit of corner to play with here. That ain't bad. He can be real quick to this, but Doma even faster. Finds Sushi Boys. And now the 2v3, and it's X10 trying to just hold on for their tournament life. Mystic can only get one, and they cling on off the back of Pattypan, shutting out Mystic.
Implantali.
Okay. For the stops on 12-8 now the score. A real back and forth round. I thought there would maybe Mystic makes a sound, and whoever that is playing deep, I think it's Sushi that's playing all the way deep in A lobby, catches that, but
yes,
criticize the set pieces and the executes. That's another one right there, Lauren, that really impressed me.
Doma zarina. Da.
That's to counter the stack. That was a 4-man
stack. Vidio sam
stack.
tweeto prima, umro sam, znači da se vidi to.
That's a really good point. It was a massive investment. Fox, speaking of investments, all out walking mid right now. The money's shoddy from Fnatic. They're down to bits and pieces. Marshals and
Ljudi, vidite ovo, ljudi.
Nothing much. And there is heavy armor actually behind Durka, so eyes on him, I guess. But Fox, how much space has this man got?
If he doesn't catch this C long or the garage, I say yeah, he will spot out Magnum. Because they could get a little dicey there. Sushi Boys will double down. Find that again. This one.
It's got to be clean.
Let's say yeah, really nice.
Beautiful stuff.
One is that.
It is.
Got to thread the needle.
Yeah. So, well, back down to the old classic. Not gonna happen. X10. Huge round, clean as anything. That's 5 alive, everything they'd want.
I mean, we talked about obviously the recovery from that round previously, and Fnatic now back on 4 ultimates, and it's the key.
Doma ima najviše killova, alo.
Cosmic Divide, lockdown, Razer. I mean, only the Bladestorm invested there. They have the Seekers to boot. This is the one really.
Kako mi drži slušati se, ja ne znam.
The Storm to take control here. On on the side of X10, nothing left in the tank, ultimate-wise.
Ducker is struggling to make it away from that. You can see him taking a chunk of damage off the back here. Has to fall away, bailed out by the flash. And a little bit of map control garnered early. But you can see the response over towards C-Long. It's Boaster trying to go for a walk. They want aggression on both sides of the map. He's going to post himself up, allow them to stack out towards A, and the Seekers have gone out as well. So Boaster's in a world of trouble here potentially, but they've got to check on this. They've got to check on this. Boaster, he's been found. He's gone down, and now it's the site open and available. It doesn't matter about the divide by now. They're going to be on the side. They're going to be planting this one out. But Magnum, he's ahead of this. He's trying to get around this one as quick as he can. Sushi Boy, huge denial. Great work there. The
Mystic doma.
Mystic out of nowhere, and it's just Patty Pan. No way did they just do that?
Kaki doktori, dom uzeo 3 kila I Mystic 2. Okay. Kakav bog ovaj doma, brat.
Again, everything goes right for X10. The execution is perfect.
There you go.
Isolate Boaster.
Šta radi?
Come through. Magnum even dipping his toe before site control has been relinquished.
Is this the voice? Are we getting the voice, really? Is this trademarked? Are we allowed to show this? He's in. He's been approved of. There it is. They've made it through the first real challenge in the lower bracket run. And we said it before, right? This is what it comes down to. It matters how you finish in these tournaments. You get knocked down to the lowest. They lost to the Sentinels. It was still a good game. They persevered through, and you saw X10 starting to warm up. They were no slouches on this map.
This is just another huge round from Doma. Beautiful stuff from him. And coming through Mystic, really nice kills as well on that retake. And this is heartbreaking for X10. Like I said, my biggest criticism was going to be the set plays and the execution. Right down in Haven, they demonstrated some really nice plays. And Fnatic, weathering the storm in these rounds. It's not as if really a great counterplay, but on the back of a couple of individual
on mršav. Ti si mislio da je on mršav. Gledaj ga koliki. Tank.
Right? You come down to the lower bracket here, and those are the sorts of games that you want to kind of.
On je Gala I ja najdeblji Fortnite igrač na Balkanu.
On a map like that where not everything's going their way, right? I was talking about coming back to a comfort zone. Some of those rounds weren't so comfortable. It was on the back of Fnatic kind of doing things that
su izgubili.
Uncharacteristic, right? When we've seen Fnatic struggle in the past has been against fast and loose teams.
Hoćemo intervju od dome, ljudi.
Sad
ide Liquid, rač. Znači mora, brate, EU da pobedi. Znači mora EU da ide dalje.
Yeah, and this is where, in my mind, though, I think if X10 got a little bit more to play with in that first half, a couple more rounds to give that buffer going in.
It's a different story.
It could have been. There was such a build-up of momentum at the end, but it was shut down. Doma
pa kako da ne budu smoreni, oni su ispali, brate.
Absolute beast. So congratulations to Fnatic to stay alive. Plenty more challenges further ahead, though, to X10. I think we've all got a new fan favorite, though, in Paddy Pan for sure. And Fox popping off as well. There's so many new names to add to the list of players to watch. However, that's enough from us. We're going to be heading to a short break, and when we're back, we join by the
vraćamo se poslije s domom. Znači mora doma doći. Ljudi. Znači gledajte što. EU protiv NA. Ovdje ako Liquid vina, ide EU protiv Brazila. Sutra u 5 gledamo domu. Znači sutra u 5 ljudi igra. Šta? Jesu, 2-0. Znači doma igra sutra u 5. Ja ću sutra da palim stream u 1. Igrat ćemo zone u V-Boxe do 5. I onda od 5 gledamo to. I onda u 7:30 gledamo. Nadam se da Liquid pobeđuje. Ja stvarno da će Liquid ovdje da pobedi. I onda gledamo i Liquid sutra. I onda možda gledamo Sentinel. Brate, sutra će biti strašni mečevi. Samo Liquid da dobije, znači molim Boga. Ne, brate, najjači lik, ono. Mare, igramo Bragins od 6, jeli? Si ti bre normalan, ono? Kakav Bragins, to je sutra. Ma debre, gledam domu, šta je to? Sutra doma igra od 5, ono. Ja to ne igram sigurno. Ma nisam igrao Trio Cash Cup i da igram Bragins right, evo. Da. Znači ovdje ko pobedi u loveru, on ide u grand finale. A brate, hoću da gledam domu, šta? Tebi nije bitno da gledaš ovako nešto, ne igraš Bragine Rajca, ono. Ja nisam ni znao da imam Bragine Rajca, znaš? Sad sam saznao kad si mi ti rekao. Kako odigra Doma? Za koliko ovo kreće? Za 2 minuta? Baš me zanima da će Doma da intervju. Biće. Ja to isto mislim, znaš Toplak? Ovo što je rekao Toplak, ja isto mislim, znači. Biće Fnatic protiv Liquida, brate, ovdje. I onda će biti Fnatic protiv Noturna. I onda će biti Fnatic protiv Sentinelsa u granicima. To je ono što ja očekujem. Znači, mislim da će tako biti sigurno. Znači, ovdje Fnatic protiv Liquida igraju. To je moje očekivanje. I finale će biti Fnatic Sentinels. I Fnatic pobeđuje zato što je već jednom izgubio od Sentinelsa. Haha. I to je to. Matex FN, hvala ti puno na mani. Evo ga, još 50 sekundi. Kako bilo dobro da Doma dođe na intervju, ono? Loser iz Apera ide na winera iz Lovera. Da. Čekaj. U principu, ako ti ode sad Sentinel izgubi. I onda Sentinel ode pobedi. Opet igraju šta? Notorni Sentinels, ali igraju sve jedno. Kad se igra 5 meča, to je ono što me zanima, brate. Best of 3 je, brate, i ovdje. Aha, ovo je sve best of 2, je tako? Best of 3. Ne, ja sam glup, ovo je best of... Čekaj, jel mora ovdje best of 5, zar ne? Samo je grand finale best of 5. Zašto? Ma da, Doma je već osigurao neke pare, ljudi. Znači, Doma ima sigurno sad... Ovo, znači, Doma ima sigurno 40k. Kolika na hvala 220 eliksira nam. Ne, na manine 5 eliksira. Ne znam šta pričam sad više. Pa jesu, to je 200 man. Dobro, hvala ti puno na konfetama. Pa dobro, da. Da, Doma ima sigurno, pa šalju što? Doma ima 40k split, a nije ić ljudi, split je ovo. Gde je ić ono? Sam misli 200k ić prvo mesto, ste vi normalni? To je milion za prvo mesto. Evo ga.
Versus Vikings is still going to be a great series. Version 1 versus Fnatic, having that locked in, that is going to be another great clash to see who is going to be able to keep themselves alive and which one of the regions is going to be losing their teams first. So pressure's going to be on, if you're an EU fan, might want to be giving them some support.
Well,
but version 1 as well.
That's a teach.
You mentioned that, Team Liquid looks like they should be able to take out Crew, but Veli, I mean, let's be honest here, man. You can't sleep on anyone. I mean, X10 nearly brought that back. Let's take a look at our Prime Gaming highlights. We could have very well been talking about a Game 3 here, Vel.
Level 1 also.
No, we definitely should. I feel like we've been cheated out of it, but you know what? I want to give a big shout out to X10 for their adaptation with their hyper aggression on the attacking side. But on defense, I feel like if they corrected a few issues, they could have definitely pushed the matter. I feel like Heaven was definitely theirs. For instance, remember when Scary and Sushi were on the retake from Heaven? And when Sushi Boys came from Connector, they could have exit fragged that 2v3. There was really no chance at clutching it. You have a judge, and you have a sheriff. Everyone's huddled in underneath Heaven. You gotta make sure your economy is straight. They lost a rack of rounds leading into that. But then you saw Paraffin and others on rotations in order to retake sites, pushing in individually as well. You can't win a fight by yourself if you're pushing into an entire team. That's not what you want to do if you want to win this game. But on the flip side, man, this team, they have talent. I love their aggression, and that's why they were so good on attack. It got to a point where Fnatic, they said, you know what? Let's change up the philosophy. Let's throw at them what they're throwing at us. And you saw a full team push basically right down mid into grass. That was a really good adaptation by Fnatic, and it makes me sad that Patafan, Fox, the rest of the boys are going to be going home because this team is special. With the meta now being introduced to them from different regions, I hope they learn more because they should be tearing things up in Berlin as well.
Yeah, I think it's good to have these extra eyes on the region now. People get a a taste of what the Thai region can offer, what these players in particular can do. Patty really making a name for himself now in Valorant, where he was quite well known over in Overwatch. So I think it's really good exposure for these guys, and I'm sure that we're going to see them continuing on. And when it does come time for Berlin, you can bet you guys are going to be looking to be there yet again.
We better see them.
I certainly would hope so. But one team that wouldn't be shocked if we end up seeing in Berlin or the winners of this matchup, and it was Fnatic. And Lothar, there were some moments of brilliance, I would say, from doma, from Durka. Doma was insane that game. Mystic was magical. Everyone played a role in this game, but I know that there were some plays you wanted to talk about specifically.
doma was a big factor of why Fnatic won 2-0 and not went to the third map, because he was clutching rounds after round. If I'm not mistaken, 3 rounds in a row were clutched by doma, but this attempt here, like he saved his wall for a retake on B and put just straight forward in front of him, in front of the spike. He was actually killed. There's a luck factor here involved, but they almost got it just because doma had this play. And other ones that he clutched was just because he's actually good at aiming. But I wanted to point out, in this match, on those 2 maps, both doma and Mystic went plus 19 on the frags and deaths. They were absolutely popping off. But Durka, 10 first bloods, 8 first deaths. He was actually opening a lot of space for the team, so kudos to him as well. For X10, they played really well. Fox with the 8 first bloods was absolutely wrecking havoc, and also opening up a lot of rounds for them, but they just came up short. But it's Fnatic. There's no shame in losing to them.
Yeah, that's right. Lessons have certainly been learned here for X10. A lot to take back to Thailand. I'm sure that everyone in that region is going to benefit greatly from the experience that X10 has gained here in Reykjavik, Iceland. But for more insight on Fnatic's win, we actually have Dash standing by with Durka for our Verizon post-match interview.
Kako nije doma, brate?
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. I'm here with Durka after Fnatic coming through with a vengeance today, putting up the 2-0 victory over X10. Durka, before we do talk about today's series, I do want to reference the loss to Sentinels. Most notably, what did you and the rest of the team come away from with takeaways off of that series?
Yeah, on Sentinels game, we lost like 3 pistols out of 4, and we lost duels. We took many of them, and we took too many risks that led us to lose. So I think we fixed those for the moment, and I think we are ready for the rematch.
All right, already looking at that rematch. I like it, I like it. And of course, locking up the pistols definitely helps you right off the bat in pushing forward. And then if we gear towards X10, when you look at that roster and looking at the tape that you had in terms of evidence from them, who did you identify as the main threats, the people that you would have to deal with most notably?
I think Patifon was very good. Even before the match, people were hyping him, and when I was playing against him today, he hit very nice shots, and we had nice duels too, so I'm kind of impressed with him.
Now that said, if we take a look at Icebox, you guys are on the defensive side. It started hot, 6-0, half went 8-4, so they clawed it back a little bit, but you guys were able to close it out pretty cleanly. And so, given that that was your map choice, strategically, did you feel like that was necessarily a weakness for them, or more that you guys were super prepared for your side of the matchup?
I think we are more prepared than on Icebox than before, and I think it's our strongness.
Okay.
This time.
Moving towards Haven, though, again, this one was an interesting kind of flow of game, because they took the first 3 rounds, but then it was 9 straight for you guys on that half. And so, again, once those gun rounds started up, did you just find certain windows? Was it winning those gunfights? Did you figure out within their gameplay something that you could target?
Yeah, I think we figured out a couple of windows, and we again lost 1 pistol at the start, so that led us to 3-0 at the start. And then when we had gunfights, we knew what they're gonna do, and I don't know, very nicely on that. We had good calls, and Buster read them very well.
Yeah. Oh, well, speaking of reading them, because if we look at the back half of that map, it started to slip away a little bit. They gained some ground, but there was a tack pause called 4-1 on that side of the map for you guys. What was discussed there in terms of like the major threats? What were they doing well that you had to disrupt?
I think they waited for our mistakes more, and when we started playing more passive, we started again winning the rounds. So I think it was on that, and our coach Mini helped us on that.
Now, I'm curious for you personally, as we take a look at your career and joining this Fnatic roster in Valorant. Fnatic, as an organization, struggled in stage 1 of VCT. With you and Magnum joining, kind of took off like a rocket ship, and here you guys are competing at Masters 2. When you first joined the team, was there much of a conversation about what specific role they needed you to fill?
Yeah, so we had conversation that we need AWP player and like Jet on some certain maps and more flexibility. So we had that in me, and in Magnum it was so nice because he talks much, communicates nice, and finds good setups, and he helped us on that.
All right, final questions. I know you're looking at that rematch for Sentinels, but if you're going to get that rematch with Sentinels, you're going to have to fight through version 1 first as your next matchups. Yeah. The other NA squad, just give me your thoughts ahead of that one.
Yeah, I think version 1 plays very nicely on this scene, and I liked very much their playstyle, so I'm looking forward to it. Yep.
Should be a sweet battle between the two regions, another NA versus EU clash. Durka, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me, and congratulations on the victory here today.
Thank you.
All right, from here, we're heading to a break. When we come back, we're closing out the day with Team Liquid versus Crew.
Šta radiš općihu uopšte? Ako možeš da pričaš o tome, ili? Opet 3 minute pauze, okej. Ajde imamo Twitter, šta je Twitterovo doma? Doma? Kako su prošli? Pa vinjeli normalno, evo ga Twitterove doma. To je to. Idemo životinjo. Najjači ono. To sam skupio 50 lajka ovdje, vrate, a? Evo ga 51. To je to, pop off tweet. Niko ništa nije komentarisao, zamisli ono, 50 ljudi lajko, niko ne komentariše. Bravo, evo ga i Gala tweetova. Easy. Ko je ovo, vrati? Aha. Čekaj nešto im. Jel doma nešto još tweetova, a? Nije. Haha, kako najluđi, gledajte ga. Zvin for damogoj. Znači, sad ide Team Liquid protiv Pro Esports. Okej. Ma da bre, 2-0 za domu. Nadam se će Liquid sada dobije. Neću da menjam naslov, realno piše šta se igra od koliko. To je to. Imate te treasure boxe, ljudi. Pobunite to. Rešim ja. To je to. 50 sekundi od još. Aha, kao programer radiš, aha, okej. Ma čuti, bro, dok ima posla, brate, nema šta se žališ, ono. Isto je kao i ja, brate. Vidiš za njih ili jedan Kanadjanin, kao. Ima Liquid dobar tim, brat. Sad će da vidimo, pazi. Sad ćemo šta će brate, da nam kaže naš scream. Ogledaj ovo, brate, Koreanci svi. Ovo je Tajland, je tako? Da. Ima 3 Japanca i 2 Koreanca. Ajmo.
Representar a mi región es de verdad un honor i je una sensacija increíble.
Čiho, da, to si upravo, brate, šta? Ja ne znam da bi ja uzimao, da bi imao ovoliko vijevera i sve na trovo. Aj sad već ide u školu i sve. Ali ono kad se uopšte nije išao u školu, brate, baš sam tad imao i dosta ljudi na streamove i sve ono, koje god dobro. Meni je baš dosta pomoglo to, da kažem.
En la región de Sudamérica, jugando contra equipos muy fuertes. Una vez que se armó el equipo, encontramos que es importante como conocernos y jugar entre nosotros.
Empezamos a jugar entrenar contra equipos europeos y cada día que sigue pasando hasta el día de hoy, estamos evolucionando mucho más, aprendiendo, perdiendo y ganando de todas las formas.
Para mí hasta ahora lo que he podido conocer, que he jugado en Brasil, Estados Unidos y en Europa de entrenamientos, pues yo creo que Europa está en la región más fuerte en lo que es equipos.
Fnatic, que tengo muchas ganas de jugar contra Fnatic y en general contra todos los equipos de Europa, son muy buenos, creo yo. Otro equipo que me gustaría sería Sentinel, creo yo, de poder ganar a Fnatic.
Yo me encuentro como personalmente un jugador que cree que para poder ganar se tiene que trabajar en equipo, que es imposible ganar individualmente en estos tipos de juegos. No sentimos que tengamos tanta presión de demostrarle nada a nadie, sino que queremos como probarnos a nosotros mismos que podemos tener el nivel de competir a nivel mundial.
We're closing out the day with another lower bracket elimination game between EU's Team Liquid and Latin America's Crew Esports. Team Liquid had high expectations entering this, but they ended up hitting a roadblock against version 1 in the upper bracket. And Lothar, I gotta ask you, buddy, who needs to lead Team Liquid here so that they can get to those winning ways we know that they're capable of?
You know, when it comes to Team Liquid, I feel like they are a very strategical team that is focusing a lot on their preparations. We can see that on Haven with the different lineups that they use, but there's one person that is showing up almost every single day, and he's showing up big. Scream is going nuts. This guy, he's a legend. He's someone that is just like so consistent, absolutely insane. On the during the match against version 1, over the course of 3 maps, he got 61 kills, 47 deaths, plus 14, but that's not even that impressive. What is impressive is his average damage done per round. It's 200.7. It's absolutely insane that one player can pull it off while playing Phoenix.
Šta ja mislim o toj situaciji? Pa ja neću se vakcinišem, ono.
Sage when Yumpy is going to
mislim da nema potrebe.
So this is, I love watching Liquid because they are just, you know, you can say they're liquid in their strategies. They're changing it a lot. They're flowing.
Yeah, they have to flow, and a player that's also attributed to that, Kilios, has been Yampy, right? The addition of that player to the team has really, you know, done wonders for them.
Yeah, it really has, and we still do have to, you know, as much as we want to talk about Scream and say like he is the foundation of the squad, which does seem to be the case, but it really does also come down to Yampy as well as Soulcast. You saw that big, you know, question mark moment from their Haven map, trying to sneak up behind and then just getting absolutely punished. You know, they also need to step up. They need to perform well. Soulcast is especially one of the big info grabbers for the squad. He's the one running the Sova. He's the one running the Sky. If he is going to consistently get picked off again, they're not going to be able to gain that information as to where the opponents are at, and that could give Crew an opportunity to potentially take a lead in this series.
And Veli, we just heard from the Crew players. This was before, I believe, everything took place. They consider Europe to be a strong region. They know that they're going to have to deal with the talent out of the EU region and Team Liquid. What does Crew do to try and counter this?
They're going to have to play like they do in LATAM, especially on attack. They're going to have to really give it to Scream and the rest of the boys. But it's their defense, which I think is going to be the difference maker. If you watch the VOD of TL versus version 1, you will learn a lot. You're going to learn that, especially in overtime in the first map, Team Liquid, they like to really go on their default and push heavily to go and win their 1v1s. They do that all around the map. What version 1 taught us is that if you stay back, if you play passive, then you have a good chance at winning. Crew, they love having the same setups. They love having traps to put you in Viper walls. They have brimstone mollies they can abuse. The thing is, if they're able to do that and play off of each other, I think that Team Liquid can walk into a firing squad depending on
trebaš da imaš razmak od preko 15 sati da ne jedeš ništa. Ja to nisam ni bio svestan da sam ja to radio, zato sam ja i smršao 10 kg za mjesec dana. Ja jedem, brate, znači ja po 15-16 sati nisam ništa jeo, osim, ne znam, tipa kikiriki ili neke, ne znam šta sam tad jeo, šta sam smio da jeo. Znaš tako, badem da sam jeo, nisam jeo kikiriki.
Sorry, crew, I can't really give it to you this time. I think it is going to be TL.
Ali bio mi je svaki obrok sličan, ono, nema tu šta previše, razumiješ, ono. Ne doručkujem, probudim se lupam u 10. Jedem... Znači ja se probudim u 10, lupam primjer, pa jedem u 1, pola 2. Lupam po 1, brate, 2 jaja, 150 grama, 200 grama mesa. Ja sam fino jeo. Ne znam, bukvalno uzmeš 50-100 grama sira isto i neku salatu. Imaš zelenu salatu, kupus, krastavac. I to ti je ručak i najedeš se ti baš fino. I onda posle uveče jedeš opet oko 7. I bukvalno isto možeš da jedeš, ne znam ono. Ja sam pravio čorbe isto, neke bez ugljenih hidrata. Ja sam miksao, ja sam sam nešto izmišljao svoje, brate. Znači ne bi ti verovao. Menta radi. Menta se zapasio.
This is going to be an exciting one. Crew up against Liquid. Liquid fighting for their life here, and I'm sure that they want to make it all the way back to where they feel like they should be, which is in that grand final spot.
Uglavnom samo gledaš da dnevno uneseš više od 20 grama ugljenih hidrata, to je to. Šta radi? Kao konobar.
Liquid's rivals Fnatic didn't do so well. Can we expect something different here against Liquid?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think the desk are saying it right here, Dan. It comes down to strategically, they're looking pretty good. We've seen a night and day performance of Crew from yesterday versus Sharks than when they did versus Fnatic. But what really has to step up here for this team, for Crew Esports, is definitely the firepower. And I'm not sure if they actually have it if you're going head-to-head against what we have for Team Liquid. You're going up against the Scream and the Yampi right now of Team Liquid, and if they could be on point and in shape, it's going to be a very tough one.
Yeah, I agree completely. There's definitely a lot of things to talk about with this matchup in particular, and I think Liquid is a team that they've got some demons to beat as well in terms of the mental game aspect. Liquid is a team that have shown so much promise in matchups, important matchups previously, but then sort of fallen short, perhaps outgaming themselves. So that element's always going to be present still when we're talking about Liquid. It's going to take some time for us to see them prove that wrong, for us to change the script on that one. But that could be something that could benefit Crew here. You know, if Liquid is not dealing well with pressure and they're finding themselves in a spot like this, there might be some cracks to exploit.
Yeah, no, definitely. And when we're looking at the timeouts, I think that's something that's going to be very important too. If somehow the match
Runja, vidjet ćemo se za nekih
Team Liquid, then the pauses
mjesec i po dana, Runja, da
the
znaš.
reassurance that you have from the coach Sliggy could definitely help him out. But what I do like to commend is the fact that Scream, for me, has become kind of like that leader for this team as well. Really amped up the team, saying good job, putting the fist bumps in there. You saw in the replays at some point, sometime yesterday, he even stood up to go shake Yampi's hand pretty much on good plays. So he's really trying to step up as that leader, kind of like a more silent bolster, I guess, for Fnatic, where he's just amping up the team all the time and always smiling. So I think Liquid might be able to have this composure against Crew. I know this is a stressful game, a stressful series for both of these teams, but again, I feel that Team Liquid could definitely pull this through.
Yeah, I definitely am with you on that one, and I like the point that you made about Scream being sort of the natural in-game sort of captain, or team captain, really, for everybody, just able to make sure that everybody's in good spirits. It's certainly an important thing to consider on a team. You've got to have the right kind of mixture of personalities to have, have people that are calm when things are getting crazy, people that are able to get the energy going when things are in a very low energy or things are going, very difficult. You've got to have the right group of individuals to kind of gel together to really get the most optimal results. And mean, that's part of the magic of tactical FPS and finding players. And it looks like we're about to get the walk-on, Vansily. Will we get any interesting maneuvers here? I feel like Boast has really set the bar pretty high on that one.
I've been loving him so far, and I think hopefully from Crew, because again, when you look at how Crew played on the first day against Fnatic, they were definitely defeated, right? But seeing that they have the confidence, they have what it takes, they dominated Sharks. If they walk out with confidence right now for Crew, I think they can continue with this nonchalant play style to say we could probably take the upset against Team Liquid as well.
Absolutely. It's all about the walk-ons, seeing the energy here from both teams coming through, and there's a lot of tension here too. This could be the last time one of these teams to walk out onto the stage here at this tournament. Again, the first global events that we've seen in Valorant, a historic moment and something that's truly special to be a part of, especially considering that you're representing your regions.
It's crazy. You're looking at right now the records too at the bottom, right? Despite Team Liquid being like the favorites coming into the tournament, that's the thing. They haven't tasted victory yet. Crew has. They had to play an extra game because of how the format was going into Masters 2, and now to be able to taste that victory against Team Sharks, they know what it takes. For Liquid, you talked about the shakiness of how things have been for Liquid since their run as Fish 1-2-3, and now that they're still just steps away of trying to get it. They almost had it versus Vanity and Company of version 1 just yesterday, but the third map, that was definitely one-sided. But now that the veto maps are coming up, I'm okay actually with Team Liquid banning Icebox at this point here. Haven has come to no surprise for me for Crew right now. I mean, they wanted to come in with some great strategies. It didn't work out. They banned it versus Sharks as well, and they were looking good for the rest of the series. So seeing the next three that are happening, what I find interesting here, Dan, is that Crew are going to get tested on two other maps that we haven't seen them at the Masters yet. So they haven't played Split on the Master stage, and I think they haven't played Ascent yet on the Master stage either. So if there's going to be
Icebox i Haven banani, alo? Da li je moguće ćemo vidjeti neku drugu mapu? I tu se Split igra prvo, pa Ascent, pa Bind, ubrat. Ovo će biti zanimljivo.
Has, of course, been very, very far away from perhaps meta-defining regions that you would perhaps, you could describe North America and Europe to be the meta-defining regions, the teams, or rather the most competitive regions that we have at the moment.
And Korea,
And interestingly, I don't think we're going to see from Crew any Viper, although they can pull it out. We've seen that. They have the capability to do that with their lineup. But on a map like Split, we're not going to see that most likely. If they stick to what they've been, what they've been consistent with so far, unless they want to throw something new into the mix here, which is always possible when you get onto game day. But we'll see as we go into the Prime Gaming Agent Select if that's going to be the case here or not. Is there anything that you're going to be looking out for here as we start to see these compositions take form?
Well, for sure. If we're going to stick to what Crew are capable of and what they know on Split, and you were talking about keeping the same agent pool, this is basically a double duelist with a Jet, a Raze, having an Omen in there, a Killjoy, and a Sage. So this continues to be very, not necessarily static, but this is definitely how things have been common here for this type of playstyle of Sage slowing things down, combining with Raze utility to take early map control if you're on the defender side. If you want to play aggro, you can. But having only that one single flash, if you want to try to go for that flash and dash, you have to be a little bit quicker or a little bit better in terms of the communication that you want to enable that.
Yeah, certainly agree with that one. It's also
Ma gledaj ga ovaj ludak, najluđi si je, znaš? Inke, ludaku jedan. Hvala puno na eliksirima, brate, hvala. Ali stvarno nema potrebe, ali. Hvala, hvala.
Do you get the same sense that I'm getting here? I mean, of course we know that they are definitely the favorites on paper, but again, Split is a solid one for them.
Definitely, and I even think that on Split it was unfortunately
Opet sam prvi, bre. Idemo, bre. To je to. Hvala puno,
again, I think they were able to get some great timings, especially against Zelsis, actually, just punishing the peaks that Zelsis was doing with the abilities. So if they could continue with this type of timing that they have, it's going to be great. What really enabled Team Liquid to get these rounds and string these rounds together was actually how Soulcast, for me, was shining onto this map. The way that he was setting up Yampi on these dashes onto the site was actually perfect for Team Liquid on the execution on a map like Split. Keeping a Brimstone right now, I'm not too against having a Brimstone because right now you're thinking about the Molly pulse plants. It doesn't really
Još nije počelo, evo ga kreće.
But it's definitely a good ability to have. Let's say if you want to zone out ropes and you want to do splits into B, or vice versa into B heaven if you want to take mid control into A. So that could definitely happen. That could definitely help out into Team Liquid. But we'll see how it pans out now that you see Crew again. Looks like they're not changing anything at all.
Yeah, and it's good to see, you know, they're actually 90% win rate on this map. This is, or that statistic only counts teams that they played in Latin America, but still, we'll see how things go here right on the attack.
Jeboće mi drago što gledam neku drugu mapu, ono.
But Sarkas already with some scouting information is going to spot a lot of this. Yampy there as well. Into the setup they go, Link with the double, and with that said, it's going to be a tough recovery here now for Crew.
Ma nema šanse, brat.
As Liquids have plenty of time to rotate and push around the map. They've got all the information. And you can see Crew, they're going to have to just force the issue. It's not really a good answer in this situation.
Yeah. This is just a great start, right? Look at Soulcaz. He actually bought 3 guided lights at the beginning, sacrificing the armor and sacrificing the Trailblazers so they could actually give a raid boss to Yampy with that frenzy to get the first opening blood. With that, they get control of the map, but it's still a big flank from Scream. So a 3-on-1, unfortunately, as Crew weren't watching their backs.
Very nice. Scream.
Kako, brate, zmiren ruku ima lik, ono, se vidi,
da?
1500 eliksira, opa, idemo, bre. Haha, to je to, evo viš? Kad meni daš eliksira, imaš treći za free spin odmah, brate. GG.
You'll find it for sure. And at the same time, seeing how Scream is already landing shots like this with a frenzy on the mid-range to long range, it's gonna be scary. That's a one-tap literally with the frenzy. That's already hard to do in itself, just to try to do single bullets off a rapid-fire pistol right there. And he was able to open it up against version 1 yesterday. If he continues with this form, Crew, it's gonna be a
Hvala ti na još 300, brate. Hvala. Ej, ti 1500 kad dropaš, opet imaš free spin. Ko zna, sad ćete u seriji 5K gledao sad. Ideš dropaš kod sebe odmah i dobiš opet free spin. I chilluš.
You know, when you're operating in a situation like this and you don't really have much in the way of investment, you want those smaller goals, and you can maybe work towards those with all 5 players. But you can see here that Liquid have a very good setup to deal with anything like this. They're giving up the B side effectively, playing retake there so that they can have more presence to deal with anything in mid. So playing retakes on both sides effectively. It's a good approach.
Yeah, they were just afraid here for this point for Team Liquid to see if Crew was going to already cross over into ropes. So bring that Trailblazer in there, knowing that there's no aggression coming in from Crew. It's still a default, and they're still in great position, so they don't have to over-rotate yet. And you see those guided lights coming out from the minimap to get info.
Au, brate, ovaj judge, ovo je strašno, brate, gledaj ti ovo, alo. Znači, stvarno je judge, brate, ja ne znam.
Almost, it feels like an impossible scenario if you're a Crew in that position.
Bukvalno nemoguće.
You know, Liquid playing it kind of perfectly. You can't. They're not really putting a foot wrong. They're actually giving up the sites. So there would have been a possibility to rush down a site for a plant, but maybe that would have been the best outcome. But either way, you're into our first gun.
Yampy stvarno isto igra dobro, brate. I Link je dobar ko njih je Scream. Ja ne znam, stvarno su svi igrači okej kad pogledaš, brate, ono Liquidu. Šta se ovo čulo? Nije mi ovdje prazno slušalice. Au, 15% je, pa izdržat će danas sada. Hvala puno na što eliksira.
But as they still try to battle for
info,
info, that's perfect right there. The wall to come up, it gets
automatically
sprayed down. They hear 2 sets of shots to break down the wall. So now they know they're playing extremities for Crew. They're playing a slow default once again. And Team Liquid, they readjust to it by playing maybe a slightly more heavy mid side with, again, Soulcaz, this time with Scream.
And right now, Liquid aren't really too sure what's going on. They will be getting some flashes through towards B main just to get some information. And that would have detonated.
Na koliko si ti sati, jel si skupio 2000?
Correct.
And contact through Mail and
kako ga je sjebao, brate. Da, baš je fantastic shot, bukvalno.
An easy one for Scream, but
ubio bih Helix sa Judge tu lagano.
Crew are now barreling into this B site, looking quite
to je to uzeli su site, brate.
They've got pretty much everything that they could want. There goes the dark cover as well, and the plant on default. So fantastic contact play from Crew.
Pa koliko imaš sati sad trenutno?
That actually shambled the whole setup here for the defense, but Yapi's on that flank. They have a lot of utility to watch at the same time, but here comes a push in from spawn side.
And looking at quite hard fought here at the moment, down to a 3 versus 1.
Kako Vina igra protiv Dome? Ne.
It's a good attempt, but Crew, man, I'm really impressed here. Just
Ne.
said that
Imaš, brate, ono...
That truly was the linchpin of the round. Getting that instant kill on Scream, having everybody pushed up so far. Liquid didn't have information overall to know where anybody was. So that's when contact plays are at their most dangerous.
Pa prvo treba Doma da vina, brate, V1. Pa onda, brate, Liquid treba da vina Team Vikings, brate, isto da bi bili. Au, ako bude EU na EU, ja ne znam. Kad igra Doma, igra je već, pobjedili su. Sutra Doma igra opet u 5. Dakle, to je V1, Amerika.
Yeah, they are reacting quite nicely, not really giving up anything to Liquid so far. Late into mids, they are also looking after A main as well as B main.
Zajban. Čekaj, oni treba da pobjede ovo.
Try to push any of those positions. Crew will know about it. Trying to edge their way up middle. Heavy defense there for Team Liquid. They have 3 players. They can actually go with a flash, and they're going to do just that. Straight through the wall.
Brati, ovako je ružan skin, realno,
šta? And they see nothing in mid. So now they're starting to wonder what is going on.
This wall is so strong, though. The wall at the same time to see towards mid that was set up by Cryptix on that staircase, and now it could be a wall that helps out on these crosses towards the A side. But what an opening there from Klaus.
Yeah, looking really good hit. Scream at the back of the site.
Fnatic sutra u 5 igra sljedeću.
And it doesn't seem like there's all that much left here.
Koliko dobio ako vineju lower finale? Ako vineju lower finale igraju protiv... Igraju onda u grand finale. Ako vine lower finale igra grand finale.
10 seconds to go. The pressure is really on in this situation. It's just not enough time for that one, and Soulcast will take him down. Really nicely, I mean, you're really seeing the value of Sky, I feel like.
Niko nije pitao. Niko ni tebi ništa nije rekao, što?
They can gamble pretty effectively.
Vidiš da je tako od mene.
To send these Sky flashes in mid, in B main. It's just so much information.
Yes, and you combine at the same time with the Viper Cloud that they put on the top of the right side of Market, so that it allows for just like these quick peeks through the toxic screen enabled by the flashes of Soulcast. So to gain that map control where you don't have information, you're putting bodies out, you're ready for a trade, you're ready for a fight. When there's nothing happening in there, it could actually now set up your anchorman towards A or B to be just ready for any type of pushes. And you saw how Scream was ready right there. So unfortunately, Crew, this puts them on an eco. Sort of a hero buy here from Azino with the Spectre, but they're picking up the Blade Storm on that B side that could potentially help things out once they're going to go for this potential anime battle, but looks like they're falling back towards mid control once again. You can see it then at the same time for how they're setting up for Crew, because they only have that solo flash. They're going to have to group up a lot, have that slight spacing to be able to get those quick trades in there. But against utility that you currently have from Soulcast, the way that he's running his abilities, it just allows for Team Liquid not forced to hand against the aggression of Crew.
Yeah, I really like Crew's pacing as well, because they're setting themselves up to be able to throw in a super fast round and perhaps catch Liquid off guard a little bit later on. But they're also so far avoiding a lot of these setups from Liquid by just playing very slowly. And in that sense, that also is allowing them to sort of feel more comfortable in their game. And with that said, Klaus with a huge frag all the way from downtown to catch a player in screens, and now Crew are going to collapse onto the site. Link able to defend from elbow. Huge defense there from Link, able to hold backside control for the time being. Soulcast now reinforcing and getting the kills as well. Liquid doing everything they need to hold onto this position. 10 seconds to try to plant this spike. There's surely not enough time here, and in fact, that's going to be a wrap. Liquid defends, really fast response.
I'm actually surprised that that hit actually got into a kill, especially if I think that Scream had full armor, because for me, when I'm playing the game at that distance, that's a frustrating 145 damage with the Sheriff. So it worked out perfectly to get that first entry, and you saw, as the pacing you mentioned, Dan, to get where the defense setup wasn't at for Team Liquid, Crew was able to go for that ropes into the A heaven, crunch into the A site. But Link, from the Blade Storm that he avoided from Nagzet, just allowed for Soulcast to move in right after and just anchor perfectly inside the site. So it looked pretty good for Crew at the on the get-go, but just unfortunately with sometimes the RNG that you have from the Blade Storm, it comes back and swings back in the favor of the defense.
Yeah, quick trade there towards A, and should be helpful. Trailblazers sent forward by Soulcast. There goes, oh my god, it's Soulcast! My goodness gracious me! Absolutely denying everything from Crew. It looks perfect for them, but Soulcast hitting 3 insane shots completely turns this one on its head, and that's going to destroy the round for Crew. Oh, it really felt like they hit a good timing there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was just maybe a missed satchel charge to get BNJ a little bit faster into the B heaven side, but the positioning from Soulcast, you see it, it's right in the open. He's flying in the air, he's trying to clear out towards that left side, and Soulcast, it's not only maybe on a missed satchel, it was how fast Soulcast was able to react onto that satchel charge coming into that B heaven for that pick. And that was just an easy lineup for the other two when they're just grouped up. And like I said, the spacing has to be very important right now for Crew so they can actually set up better for their trades instead of having these individual peaks in the end.
Once again, Liquid looking good on the defense here towards A as Crew go in pretty quickly. We talked about that switch up of pace. They are on just Sheriff's hip though. Soulcast ready with the flashes. And right now it's a difficult spot for Crew. They do have some forward positioning. In fact, they're actually going to force the issue here, able to take control of heaven as well. In comes Soulcast once again, out go the flashes. Turning the corner, it's not going to work out for him this time. And Crew are actually holding onto some position here, but they don't have the site just yet. Res comes up, bold stuff. The bait works though, because Cryptus goes down on the swing, and now huge advantage. And there's a res coming through from Scream as well. Oh no, into Yampy, into the crosshair. Just sitting here, ready and waiting. Dash, good, with Scream as well to clean it up for the 3K. Oh my god, what is that? Was so back and forth.
I gotta have to hand it for Screams, just to be able to throw that Frost Orb into the entrance of the spawn side. If it wasn't for that, again, the aggression from Crew looking at the spawn side early kill, you're trying to go for a close range frenzy kill on the attacker side, and you saw it coming. There was gonna be a rotate no matter what into that B site after they take control, forced to rotate out, try to catch him off guard, but just because of that slow orb and enables Team Liquid to get the first kill into the battle, into the trades, Scream is able to rotate back even faster. They read him like a book right after that, and that's an easy lineup when you're playing against less firepower from Crew's side. Now, though, at least, unfortunate for this spray to put Klaus down to 6 HP, but they do have a lockdown to work with where it could have maybe helped towards his A side in the end. I think, again, you're just trying to waste this utility on mid side before. You see they're not aggressing that fast. If they could actually get a couple of flashes out from Soulcast and end back towards A later, it could be a very strong ult for them. Or that, or that.
Huge punish. I love to see that. You can hear Soulcast jump. And Nagzet picks the perfect timing. Great mechanics there on that one end. What do you do with the 5v4? That's the question. You're on the attack. It's such a strong position to be in.
It's passive on A side, right? They kind of want to give that up, play for that retake, so they still want to position Scream off this off angle on B. So he's going to try to battle it up against Nagzet, and that's actually a really good position against that op.
Yeah, there's off angle here from Scream. Can he get the one and fall back? Ooh, dropping down. It's scary. Yampy goes down. It's up to Scream now to hold on to this position by himself.
How,
Klaus to take him out.
Kako su upali na
Not too much
site.
love here on these engagements for Liquid.
To je to što ovo niko onda
Crew,
100%
they have the plant. And there's only
Vidjet
two
ćemo
players
Rema,
from Liquid to
vidjet
do
ćemo za
anything
Viki
here,
kako
and
će da
they
prođe
want
sve.
nothing to do with this. And you can't blame them.
That's for sure. I think just the jump bait switch there, just for getting the entry for Crew, was actually quite perfect. When again, you don't have that much utility in terms of flashes to try to take over the site. You got to throw the bodies in, unfortunately, and that's how it is. And they played it perfectly now this time for Crew in terms of trying to bait out their teammates to be able to at least get an opener. And Scream, you saw that Frost Orb. He was trying to put it there towards that B Heaven side just to slow things a bit. It just bounced off, unfortunately, off that balcony, and that catches Yampi in an awkward position where he got shut down. So it's not too bad so far for Crew. They add a second round onto the board. It's going to be a Prime Gaming flawless at the same time too.
Sa ne znam, split mapa, brate, oni su toliko izmenjali. Toliko su promijenili taj mid, brate. Baš su izmenili dosta, više od levo su izmenili stvar. Ovu kutiju i ovo stranje su isto promijenili. Oni event su isto, brate, skratili jednu stranu, brate. I kroz ovu kutiju više ne može se puca, baš su izmenjali ovaj split dosta, ono. Više ne znam da li je def ili je attack mapa, ali mislim da je ono... Nemam pojma, ono.
Try to make this
a
respectable scoreline against Team Liquid, who have been very dominant so far. As we go into this next buy round, we'll see the flashes coming through once again to B main. We will take control and be over B main though, regardless.
And you see the walls that are set up right now on the defense for Cryptix. It's actually not going all the way towards the entrances because he wants to leave it clear so that Yampi could opt towards his A ramp.
Speaking of Yampi, it's a nice opening. Repositioning, surely not going to peek into this one. Yampi looks so poised for this. Of course he connects it. And the problem with that one is now they're down to 3 players. They've got no map control. We're getting the Trailblazer thrown through to B main. Once again, you know, Soulcast on that Sky, able to get so much information. And also Andy with the headshots as well. Always very nice. And now it's just 2 left here for Crew.
Even a flash coming out to confirm that there's at least another player going there. Because after that first kill, like you said, Dan, no map control, the Trailblazer that came out, you're just knowing that Crew is going for a desperate, maybe last-second hit with the 3 players remaining on that B side. But when you lose a fight like that, off angle out in the open for Soulcast, because he doesn't have to be afraid, again, of being flashed.
Ja pored Fortnite igram još 4 igrice, bukvalno.
Being secure or being confident about his aim,
Fortnite igram i najmanje.
and that will now force the last 2 players of Crew to save at this point. But you're looking at it so far here, Dan. This is a lockdown that still hasn't been invested yet by Klaus. I could sense it coming into the next, but you're starting to build the ults up at the same time for the defender side. They already have the Seekers ready. They're 1 away from a Brimstone ult, and they're also 1 away from Yampi, potentially with an op kill to bring out a Blade Storm. So they're going to have to try to use it potentially soon into the next round here for Crew.
I believe in Crew. I believe.
Oh yeah.
It is definitely very tough though against an operator when you have just only the paranoia for flashes.
Kaka, bro.
I love like the slow motion voices.
Yeah. It's one of those nice ones, but yeah, this time up I think is a good one here, Dan. I think it's a good call for it so far.
Yeah, the thing that's been interesting too is that there has been some moments where I feel like Crew absolutely had the advantages to convert the rounds, but we saw some really huge clutch moments. You know, for example, you know, let's say, you know, Soulcast getting that 3K in Heaven. Instantly headshot the Raze that's just flying around with the satchel. If that's not a headshot, and even if that Raze does die, but it takes a few more bullets to do it, Soulcast dies there, and they lose the entire site. And there's this post plant that
od 5 do 10 trajalo svaki dan.
So, you know, just some of these like moments
od 5 do
have
12.
been so phenomenal, and the timings from Liquid looking very confident so far. And you can see Sliggy there in the command center, and there with the manager, his good friend Eamon. I spent a lot of time with those guys. They are really fun to hang out with, and it's also been cool to see the storylines in this game. You know, I know a bit more about those two than some others, but Sliggy, for those who don't know, you know, is someone that was renowned for really changing the game and observing in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And
je bila pauza, što je ovo
into this one.
You know what? At least naturally, it gives him like a good eye on how to observe his team playing this game as well.
Oh, for sure, yeah. You've got to do something different to be to have the mind to do the things that he was doing. But into the action we go here, and it's a huge Huge aggression here on A main, trying to fight for this early control, and Scream running backwards and spraying, finding the frags. Two down now for our crew, right at the offset of this round. Ooh,
they read that perfectly.
They really did. This looks very desperate now, Vansilly.
Yeah, I mean, you can try anything you want so far for a crew, breaking that wall, getting the flash out at the same time. Like, the timeout was like, hey, we just have to try to explode. They were trying to throw the paranoia into A main, and if they could break that wall for crew and catch them off guard, perfect. But then a self-wall that comes out from Scream, you have a flash that comes out for Soulcast that was already posted there, by the way, when he's always lurking towards that mid side. They were just ready for it. And with that, I feel that because of this action that happened at the beginning, Klaus was still keeping his Killjoy ult. And I'm not against that at the same time too, because if they actually did make it into the A site, Dan, they could put one of those very powerful ults at the bottom of that rafter by that flower pot that covers the whole site right now, including forcing to push your opponents back all the way into their spawn. So I think the idea was there just to try to overwhelm Team Liquid. But just look at the amount of utility. They even had a Viper Cloud that was ready there to set up that DK running into the site. It's like he's doing his homework.
Yeah, with the operator in a really close range position.
Oh my.
Gets the kill, dashes out, and it is problematic here for crew because what they're doing now is completely known to Liquid. And you can see that they've got all the utility in place to just prevent this push completely. Just being stopped dead. And the push from Soulcast through A main now has him in the attacker spawn, basically.
Yeah.
He wants to be there, but he could get timing pretty hard if they rotate through mid, back through to A. So he's going to hang out towards sewers instead.
Ja, men business'ında yedim.
Now Soulcast is pushed all the way out. He can't use any of the other guided lights to get information for the team. So they have to default a bit, but they also have to keep guessing of where a crew could be. So for crew right now to group up and try to go back towards this A side. Yes, it looks like there's a lot of numbers here towards this A side, but it's still individual 2 versus 1, 3 versus 1 when they come in.
Yeah, they did a dark cover there as well towards Mail, which cut off vision for Liquid.
B,
so right now it could be A or B as far as Liquid are concerned. Really smart stuff from crew. Yeah,
Yampio
with that one. That was an opportunity here now for crew as they make their way forward. Blazestorm comes out from Yampio as well. Time is of the essence here. They can't afford for anything to go wrong here, but everything is going wrong. Cryptix with a double, and it might just get worse a bit. No, crew able to try to convert this one here with a plant off of the back of those 2 kills from B&J. Out comes the Showstopper as well to try to delay things.
Baš je zarazno tu
skine. Have to wait surely, and there's that res.
Vaci ga pretero.
3v3 after plant now for crew. Oh, orbital strike comes through.
Koliko je uopšte? 8-2, au, loše.
I don't think he was interested in. And now we get the lockdown coming through. So many ults. Just the dive from Link onto that lockdown. Oh my goodness, and now Liquid with perhaps the last effort coming through from A main. There's Mazzino with the defense.
Scream.
It is Scream, of course. And he's got time for this one. Scream has time off the back of those 2 kills. This guy is always reliable for Liquid. Definitely the one you want last alive in the clutch.
And I think it made it seem weird to actually place that lockdown right in the middle of the elbow. But at the same time, I'm not against it. Maybe using that as a body shield just in case when they're actually trying to rotate back for Team Liquid to allow there just to get that first kill, because Link got picked off, and then right after that, an easy hold. They ran down the clock of the lockdown, but just this lineup, the setup that they have on a pulse plan, just to give Scream the shut machine. Easy kills like that right now. It wasn't perfect in the end on that 2 versus 1. It could have been a little bit better, but here comes another explosion.
Scream je baš jak, ali doma jači.
Straight in there, Link at the back of the site, looking to defend. Oh my god, he's owning absolutely everybody so far. Nagsaid was drifting there, floating. You thought that might be the trick to get crew into the site, but they're still stuck here.
Oni su njih jebali jako.
And a ramp control. That's all they have. As they were to take down 1, but Scream to finish off the rest. A decisive first half here from Team Liquid for the first map in this best of 3.
Strašno.
And he's 17 for 5. He is scary.
17-5 ima na Sage, halo.
Almost scary makes you scream every time you see him, right? So it's the puns are coming, Pansy. I know you're listening. But that said, I just love, I just love how strong things have been right now for Team Liquid on this defender side. If it's not also for surrendering sites, but just the sheer ability to prevent Crew from pushing even further into the sites, right? Getting screen control, even if it's an ult that you don't get that often, to split out that positioning from Crew at that screen side from Link, and also having one player force his hand towards you, and you just post up, put your gun out and take him down. It's just been very, very good of how things have been utilized in terms of Team Liquid on that defender side. But now the time's turned. We'll see what happens now for Crew. Can they turn it around? And his Viper Wall is already a great start for a fake.
Straight into spawn.
Proti Brazila igra Pabenik.
15 health.
Look at this, it's an open site.
And indeed, just a walk into way here coming through from Team Liquids. Don't know that there's anyone to stop them. They know about Yampy too, so it's quite awkward. They're going to try to crunch on him, and well, he's going to go down, but it did waste a lot of time. So there is that. Scream, the frenzy, and here goes Link to kind of body block this one and take those first engagements. Link and Scream doing the damage there to hold on to aim ramp control. Still though, Crew in with a chance here. The time is starting to tick away pretty quickly. Here they go, making their way forward now from Heaven. Just jumping straight onto the defuse. Is it going to be a stick here? Now's that comes off of it. Soulcast removes him forcibly. And there we go. Liquid able to hold on to that one. I like the little fake at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. And also a very good idea there to get off the spike. You still have a bit of time there, putting it halfway. You heard already a couple of right clicks that came out from Cryptic, so technically he didn't have that much left in terms of bullets in his clip. But there's Soulcast with the rotation coming in from Sewers on top of that, or from A-Ramp, sorry, on top of that. Just made things very difficult on that 2v1 for the defuse from Nagzet. But yeah, it was a great fake from Team Liquid. You can see that they continue this wall up towards that B side. So they're already starting an early conditioning towards this map, which is great because they're already leading 11-2. One time it could be a straight push into the B site, then you might have nothing left here for Crew because you're forcing into this round, and you might not have that much going into map point should you lose this one here.
Da, ovdje, lower round 4. Će biti Fnatic, Liquid, ako vineju sve.
Yampy also on the judge.
Here.
Au, dva judge.
The barrel into the safe side.
Au, brat.
Blazer clearing out some of these close positions.
Judge na judge, koji judge je jač?
Now exploding onto the sites, and Crew have sort of given up the site, which is fine. Play the retake game. Question is, can Liquid get good post-plant positions? That's the real battle for Liquid now. You can see Scream's trying to work a main, but doesn't really have the ability to do so. Falls back off of that one. That's good news for Crew. Soulcast will take down Mazzino, though. Good punish from Klaus. But again, Liquid very constricted on the site here. Not many places for them to stand as Crew comes in to try to trade these kills. Yampy still with that judge playing the close positions around elbow. That's going to be very difficult to deal with. In comes Klaus, and Yampy will reveal himself with that judge, and indeed, it doesn't seem like they have any answer to that. Liquid hold on to the site, and that's round number 12 for them.
Definitely some great positions sitting in that pulse plant after for TL. Just playing close range with that judge, good enough, and even on top of that, Cryptix continues that same type of like snake bite into Viper Cloud into screens, so that it's just very difficult for the for the defenders to come back from screen side and try to retake the site. So map point already, it's been not necessarily lackluster for Crew. I just think that Team Liquid are doing a very good job reading into Crew, but also controlling the pace. Something that Crew was able to do versus Sharks before, and they're still trying to find their footing, unfortunately, on their map pick.
Meni jasno kako taj judge još nije dobio nerf,
ono. To get that B main control straight away, but I don't know how much that's going to help them. It does give them the information, but Liquid's walking up into a ramp control at the moment. Slowly but surely, we will see Crew rotating over towards A now. Nagzet it's going to spot this. Guardian is in hand. Oh, in the ice orb though. Mazzino able to defend at least against Yampy. That's a big win early on. Remove the jets, and they have site control. So Liquid aren't in the best position ever right now. Crew actually have sort of rotated in time, and Liquid is going to push forward. But with that said, Scream able to take down Mazzino might make things somewhat easier. B&J with this judge. Ooh. Cryptix. He's going to take that as the cue to go forward, and that position's been given up now. Oh, B&J, that's so close, isn't it?
30 seconds left.
I was actually surprised about that one too, doing a lot of audio calls, but here's a push towards spawn side. Delzik has to come up huge.
And Soulcast will take down Delzik. Nags with the Guardian, it's going to be tough to hold off a lot of players at once with that one. Unable to get almost anything with it. 10 seconds to plant the spike. It's getting quite desperate here on time. There goes the spike on the ground. B&J, he's not in a position to deny it. He's got no HP. The classic has to come out.
Ciao.
And Liquid, it's a slow bleed in that round, but a 13-2 finish. It will be for them as they take down Crew on map 1 in this best-of-3 series in this lower bracket matchup. So it's not the best start from Crew, I have to say, Mansili.
Yeah. But at the same time, for Team Liquid, you're super happy with the results. It doesn't matter who you're facing for either of these teams. It doesn't matter who they face off against. It doesn't matter the scoreline as long as you win, they say. But at least for Team Liquid, to make it a 13-2, to be so dominant on the defender side, where technically it should be the attackers that should take the pacing of this map. It's just looking pretty good for Team Liquid moving on to that second one. So unfortunate how things panned out there on that last round though, DDK. I felt that they had a lot of utility for Crew on that A side to just prevent any type of like map control, site control for Team Liquid because of the turret, because of the utility towards that A side. But B&J throwing those paint shells, going with the judge, making some noise on the rappel. They just outplayed themselves, unfortunately, when you already have players in the back there. So something they have to look into, something they're going to have to adjust moving later on in their career as a team. But at least for now, you could turn that over, focus on to the next map. But again, like I said, they were never tested on Split. We've never seen them play Split very much also for this team, for Crew. But now Ascent, maybe it's something a little bit more comfortable for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think Split is a difficult one. And also on top of the fact that, you know, Liquid played it so well, they also won, I think, so many key clutches very early on. So it just seemed like there was never really a foot in the door for Crew on that first map. But, you know, it's time to move forwards. And next up, we have map 2 of Team Liquid versus Crew after the break. We'll see you shortly for that.
Taman se došao. Šta je ovo Red Bull, brate, od 5. do 6. juna?
Estuvimos muy abajo en los dos mapas y la verdad que venir acá,
¿Mambas?
sacar un 13-4, creo que fue el primer mapa de nada bajo la manga. Empezamos medio parejos, pero cuando pasamos del lado Terror nos desbalanceamos y empezamos a darle para adelante. Y eso es todo, los atropellamos. Porque nosotros ya entrenamos contra ellos y además son personas que ya conocemos cómo es su playstyle y las cosas que hacen. Porque nosotros entrenamos tanto individual como grupalmente contra gente de Brasil. Jugar el próximo partido contra Liquid, que quizás cueste el doble, pero lo vamos a sacar adelante de la forma que sea. Lo vamos a estudiar, vamos a ver cómo juega, nos vamos a intentar adaptar a lo que juegan ellos y a meter nuestro granito de arena de decir, bueno, así jugamos nosotros.
And after that dominating performance from Team Liquid, they will go up in the series 1-0. And Crew Esports definitely need to figure it out. Let's take a look at our Prime Gaming highlights for Map 1. And Veli, you know, Crew, they're not a bad squad. They're just not. Like, there's some things that they're missing clearly as far as compositions goes. Yeah, run me through it, brother.
All right, so remember when the game first came out and Dell was clapping everybody with the op and people were like, it's OP, how do we stop him? Then, you know, people like Pansy pulled up and said, that's why you have flashes, that's why you have smokes from all of these characters. Utilize them, add that pressure. We saw a round where Yampy was guarding A by himself and what happened? Claws and Nagzet, they pushed him. But the thing was, it was an ego push because after the first kill, Yampy was able to pull all the way back into heaven, and about 15 seconds later, he gets peeked again by a rifle. We all saw it that last round as well. I think they should have won that. While Screaming everybody is on top of ramps and they're trying to push into heaven, B&J is right there, right by ropes. You know what could have stopped him? A curveball, a leer, even Yoru's little bouncy flashy thingy, anything to disrupt their vision or sight could have gotten a kill. So heading into map 2, I hope they try to adapt on the fly, bring some variety, because it's going to be very hard to play without any type of vision blockers like clouds or any type of flash thing. So I would love to see it.
Well, Riot, you heard it here first. Rename Yoru's flash to Yoru's bouncy, flashy thingy, I guess. That's a questionable term for sure. It really does roll off the tongue.
I like it. It's exotic.
I hope when we start casting more Yoru that we start using that. In any case, though, you know, let's live in the present right now. In the present, Lothar is Scream. The man is a dominating force. We wanted him to be the player that led this team to victory, and he did just that. Look at these stats.
Look, we talked about him before the match because he's gonna be a factor, like, this guy is consistent, right? But look at this, he actually is better than the stats that I brought in before, right? He has 215 ADR over the course of 15 rounds. He has 21 frags and 7 deaths. His headshot is a percentage a little bit below his average because it's 38% and only 35 here,
what a shame.
But this guy is like, I like to focus on this strategical approach to the game. I like to talk about, you know, the Viper walls, the toxin orbs, the mollies, the cutting of corners and so on, the flashes that are just taking map control and so on. But then someone like Scream just comes in, gets a res, and then gets a triple kill, and suddenly he's 3 out of 7 on his ultimate, and then next round he gets another triple kill. This guy, if I'm not mistaken, got 3 triple kills in this match alone in 15 rounds. He's nuts. Probably. Like, you cannot just ignore the elephant in the room because Scream is here just to dominate.
I don't know if it's an elephant in a room, more so as it's a panther, you know, a tiger, a lion. I don't know. I'm thinking of some vicious creature out in the jungle because Achilleos, that's what it feels like Scream is doing. He's pouncing on his prey, and Crew, they have nowhere to go, man.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those, like, you're locked in here with me type scenarios. You know, even if they get a couple kills, that, you know, they find like 2 opening picks or whatever against Team Liquid. Like, if Scream is alive, then it's just like, well, this we probably just lose anyway. It's so rough to watch, unfortunately. I'm hoping that Crew can find some stability, kind of like we saw from X10, you know, moving into their second map. But right now, this is TL just looking to speed run their way through this final series of the evening. I mean, my wife is not even going to wake up for like another hours. I might actually be able to be done work before she gets up to go to work.
That's very nice.
Thanks, Team Liquid, I guess.
How considerate of Team Liquid. Well, Crew's certainly going to have to figure something out, and we're going to send it to our casters. I've been game planning a new name for them, VDK. It's good, right?
Stigli su Hrvatsku ove Cloud Virus, huh? Opa. Pa tako sam ja patio ko 150.
That's actually not bad. That sounds cool.
I don't know, man. Do you think so? You're gonna give him that?
I mean, Golden Boy can call me whatever the hell he wants to call me, and I'd still be down with it.
True that. Well, hey man, it's definitely gonna be difficult here. Like going into back into this series, we've got the energetic music. I'm loving the music here so far. It's fantastic. And I actually love that they're showing the artists on the actual stream, so you can actually just get that info, because that's, I feel like, is the most requested thing, isn't it? Was the actual music.
Doma na kraju onda? Kako misliš ko je, brate, pa još uvijek igraju.
Crew are in a dire one, Vansili, is fair to say. As we move into this, we're both going over the lineups and some of the, the strats and tactics to expect with these two teams and how they like to play Ascent, which is map 2.
Yes, Doma je u top 6 trenutno.
It does feel like Crew are playing a little bit of an outdated game at the moment. Again, we've described previously, there's nothing wrong with that if you can make it sing. And as we look at the Prime Gaming agent select, what do we have here in the composition?
Well, that's it. Crew hasn't changed anything, but although with this composition, they're still looking pretty good in their own region, right? When I was looking back at the stats of how they played in Stage 2, qualifying into here, it's still an 8-1. But you're playing against Team Liquid that they themselves have been unstoppable on this very map until they had to face off against version 1. And although for Team Liquid, we talk about outdated compositions for Crew, it's not necessarily outdated for Team Liquid, but they're still putting a lot of good use on to Link with this Omen. So to set up right now a Jet with an Omen with a heavy execute on the A site, it can actually still work with these two teams. It's just you're getting a little bit less now that Team Liquid also has Scream on the Phoenix to add a little bit more flash assist into these heavy hits. So he was definitely the player to look out for in the first map. For Crew, they have to look out for a way to stop him from building up these run-it-backs for these heavy hits for Team Liquid on this attack.
Yeah, Phoenix, really great agent on Ascent. We'll talk more about that as we now go into the pistol. Round 1, map 2 between Team Liquid and Crew. Team Liquid starting off on the attack this time. And a drone will spot a couple players in mid, actually, as Liquid make their way up catwalk.
Heavy presence, Dan. They're looking for a lot of stuff here towards this mid side with the utility, and just on the A side, they're playing the more passive play possible.
Ja ne znam, ovaj Jamp je najjači
Jamp already cancels the whole kit from Killjoy of Klaus on A.
Yeah, that's a great pickup and a frustrating moment for Crew, as you say. Klaus would have been quite useful in delaying things. Liquid will be set up on the side. It is a pistol round, so
yeah,
anything can happen here still. We've got the Paranoia available for Dell Sick as well on this retake. Oh, Yampy, nice timing there. I don't think VNJ expected that at all. These small maneuvers here from Yampy have been very difficult to deal with, and get that one way there as well, making life even more hard. And you can see the counter coming through with the Cloud Burst, and Scream goes straight into it. Out he goes to try to see if he can find any of these opponents who are coming onto the site now. Crew trying to get something going here, but it is simply too much to deal with as Liquid take it home for map 1. Sorry, map 1? Sorry, round 1.
Map 1.
They of course already have map 1.
Hey, they took map 1 home too. You're pretty much halfway there, Dan, so it's okay. but I gotta say, Yampy, you talked about it before too in our pregame or getting into the series. It's very important on how you could basically stop Team Liquid. How good they can be with their timings. And that timing for Yampy, just a dash into that tree site to catch Klaus off guard, get into heaven to catch out the rotation, even an offing on the third at the bottom of the catwalk for the post plant for Team Liquid. He's gonna be one guy that could mess you up definitely on these timings and maybe even cancel any type of kit you're trying to do.
Ovaj charge, brate, da li je ovo moguće?
That aggression has been completely dealt with. Not too much left in the tank here on this eco round for Crew. just a couple pistols.
I think there was a paranoia invested at the same time too, right, from Dell, so they were trying to go for this type of like smoke entrance. Very old school at the same time too, but sometimes when you try to play these old school plays and it's been a while since it's been used, it can catch your opponents off guard. Just unfortunately, you're playing against Yampi's judge, who adds up
Yampi, brate,
It is an amusing point actually, like the fact that you can say old school setup when the game's been out only a year. It just really speaks to how quickly the meta moves in Valorant compared to other games. The amount of like metas that we have had already is just kind of astounding.
Just on the stage itself right now, right? As the meta evolves, but it's still very semi-different from region to region. So it's still very interesting. It's still very fun to watch how this all unravels on Masters 2, on the Masters 2 stage, and see that how the debate is going to finish. Can you actually confirm that it's still going to be a European setup that's going to win it all, or a North American that's going to win it all, or even new turn now with Korea's meta, if that's going to be the one that's going to win it all? And I even feel that after this tournament, that conversation is still not going to end until we even reach Masters 3.
Definitely. I look forward to it. And we're going to be in our first buy round here. That said, it is a bonus from Liquid. You can see him. In fact, the Link is still on a ghost even. Very confident at this point right now with their bonus.
Jampi još uvijek ima judge,
I mean, he's going to be the one carrying the spike at the same time. You see the L drone working up towards this mid, but right now with Jampi only having a judge and they have these specters, I think it's just to create noise, create a diversion, and try to work where they can work into the close range battles. Maybe towards that pizza close range, but then fall back on Catwalk. We'll see what happens then here for Team Liquid, as it seems as though Catwalk is going to be the play.
You know, I like what Crew are doing. They're playing a retake setup on A. Just they want to maintain tree control, as that you can't really give this up and have a strong retake. So as long as you keep that, if the opponents take the A side,
vidiš, oni njih bukvalno pušti da oni uđu na A, brate, da. Bukvalno retake igre, ja.
To nisam ni one of the reasons why teams try to put a lot of emphasis on at least holding a tree. And right now you can see Liquid, there's lots of, or rather, sorry, Crew, there's lots of movement. They're not entirely sure what's going on. Liquid are playing so slow. A lot of movement.
They had to recon at the beginning too to force them back from Team Liquid onto Crew at the back of tree with the smoke, so very good to get into the site. We're playing the retake now for Crew.
There we go, there's that Phoenix wall. Lots of good applications for that on this map. Spike planted on the A site. Here for Team Liquid. Again, working with a judge, a few specters and a ghost. So it'll be a huge round for them to win. If they're able to do so. That's a great first pickup though for Crew.
Opa, the judge.
Down. That's the Blaze Storm gone as well. Tomcast ready with that recon darts. And in goes the Paranoia as Crew try to charge this A site down. Link's actually made his way back through the smoke there, near the side of door, and could have a nice little flank timing coming in here. Deals with Mazzino, and that's going to cause problems right now because time is of the essence here. Link still creating a delay, still in this position. They have to stick it. I don't know if there's actually time for this one. It's going to be close. Deep use here coming through for Crew, and they're going to make it work.
Wow.
Down to the last seconds, but it is a Crew round.
And that all came down to if Crew actually were losing a couple of more 1 versus 1 inside the A side, it would have definitely been winnable there for Link. For him to be able to squeeze through, what, 2 or 3 defenders coming in towards that doorway side through his own door cover, but also 2 cloud bursts set down by Nagzet on that rotation was a very scary task there. Actually, I was clenching if I was a fan from Crew, because at that point, that backstab that he had onto Mazzino was actually quite huge, but thankfully, he got taken down. So it looks like we do have a pause coming in right now. Not sure if it's going to be a timeout right away, but at the same time, it's a good way to calm things a little bit because, like we just mentioned here, Dan, it was a bonus round for Team Liquid. Link only had a Ghost. Jampi had a Judge and Blade Storms, and they almost still won that round to a 2 versus 1. So they did hurt the economy of Crew a lot here. Nagzet's going to have to play with a Judge, and we'll see what they'll have for the rest of the round.
Yeah,
I napravio sam jedan box za sub. I stavio sam na 24 sata. Žorž palti na 20 konfeti da lancira.
Economically speaking, really in a
takova pauza.
No reserves available. Will be on an eco, I believe, if they fall by and lose. So Liquid definitely with the money control here, and The question though is
Se vidi da je na kameri, vrati kao maska.
Do against Liquid, because I'm sure they've done some studying. There's certainly plenty of odds available for Crew to see what Team Liquid's tendencies are like when they're playing the attack. Because if you're Crew, you may want to play aggressively on A main. If you have setups for that, maybe you want to take B main control. There's lots of different approaches you can have on a map like Ascent. Unlike Split, where it feels much more limited.
I think it starts off pretty well of how they counter out how Team Liquid wants to take mid control in the beginning, because one of the main defaults that you see, not just for Team Liquid, but having a Sova in general on Ascent, is that you throw an Allen drone right off the get-go onto that mid side. So B&J playing towards market, and as he's always playing towards B side, for him to throw an Allen drone back is a great way to counter it in the end. But Team Liquid, they like to go for these heavy hits on the A side. They like to go for splits at the A side too, just enabling the recon dart and the split from Yampi combo into this tree side. So to try to fight back on that area, they have the numbers advantage going on there too. So the setup is actually not so bad. It's only 2-1 so far, and they've also won here into the bonus round that Team Liquid had. So I think they're still on a good spot, at least to kick off this game.
I like what Crew did here at the opening. I saw on the main, used the dark cover as well. That prevented Liquid from taking control there, and Liquid instead pressured mid. So in that sense, Crew have a fairly good
3 puta je ostao sam, zadnje 3 runde i svako je vino.
Dark cover comes through to
1 na 1 je bio važno, 2 puta, jedan je bio 1 na 2. Ne znam nija što se desilo. Jedno su bili 2 na 5 pa su kubili doma, brate, i magu.
That was close. B&J survives. Liquid continue the press onto the A site. And that's a spike now planted here for Liquid, but again, it's this game of post-plant positioning. Cryptics will delay things with the nano swarms. And they surely know, Crew. They surely know about Scream. And indeed, they are doing Scream before Soulcast can do anything about it. Soulcast, though, through the smoke, able to find one. The trades are coming through, though. Crew looking pretty good on this retake. Time is a problem. We do get that lockdown coming in as well. That's going to send Link back further, deeper into A main. The TP comes through, and Crew are going to take him down to get the defuse in the bag. Beautiful retake. In fact, from the beginning of the round, Van Stilly, just Crew played everything really well.
Exactly. So sometimes you see that Team Liquid, the heavy hits, as I was talking about before, sometimes they even throw the run it back from the A-man instead. But to have Screen go through the tree this way, how did they set it up? You had a turret coming in from the defender side from Klaus, all the way from the A site, looking down that area, an alarm bot with a nano swarm. And not only that, they already had 4 players on the A site playing passive, getting ready for a push right after, so that if they surrender their site, they have a lockdown, they could protect the lockdown, and they push back into it. So, as we just mentioned here, Dan, they're actually reading this game quite well for Crew. The firepower is starting to come up at the same time. It's starting to shine a little bit more here for Crew, from Nagzet more specifically at the same time too. And now we'll see if Crew can continue a reign on the defender side, as Team Liquid seems to go back on another force buy. So they have a couple of Spectres, rifles, and an off from Yampi, who looks to dash away almost into a wall, but does not get punished more than just the armor taken away.
And once again, Crew have a pretty good feel of the map here, getting that early B main control. Liquid going for
ja otvorio prozor, brate. I ja to vidiš. Ne znam gdje mi je tableta, brate, da popim tabletu. Nemam ovdje izgleda. Treba mi na stol ovdje dio.
And once again, Liquid are going to get the A site, but the question is, can they hold it? There is no lockdown here for Klaus, for Crew. And with Nagzet, indeed, on this flank, the amount of pressure on Liquid here is pretty huge.
A de, kad dođe ovo vrijeme, kosti strašno.
Nagzet able to just rotate back around. Liquid have to worry about the flank.
Oh yeah.
But he's able to reinforce this main push. And there it is, the swing onto the site. Beautiful stuff coming through here from Crew on this retake. Got to get all the kills though. One player still left is Soulcast. He has the Hunter's Fury. Is he going to pop it? Oh, Mazina's just sticking it. He is just sticking it. No fear at all. Beautiful stuff. Soulcast is wondering what the hell just happened.
Lepo odigrao.
It was so close too. I mean, he had
lepo Crew odigrao, pazite. Ne znam li ovo njihova mapa, vrata, ali baš lepo igrao ja retake.
But yes, indeed, they're trying to figure out what the hell is happening on that retake, because despite them losing the op of Yampi at A main, they still had so many bodies inside the site for the crossfire. But Crew, the way that they played it, excellent way to use Nagzet to dash into the site, Dan. So when you said that he fell back into Catwalk, he was a pivotal player to actually get into the site, create that space, and allow his teammates to come in right after. Just bow down TL on that retake. So, very well done. Forces now Team Liquid on a half buy at this point. You have a hero buy from Soul. Well, actually, Soulcast saved that weapon from that previous round, so he's going to maintain that Vandal. The rest of them are still working behind that Vandal, though, with the Sheriff's Inspector.
Yeah, Crew have changed their setup completely, but we'll go more into that in a second.
Yep.
Ooh, nasty shot from Scream. Nails Nagzet with that Sheriff. Klaus comes out to try to get these trade kills. B&J stuck in a very dangerous position, and Team Liquid doing a lot of damage here. They're looking very good. Belzik has to deliver from backside from Boathouse. Yampy with the trade, though. Leaves it to Mazzino here for Crew to save the day. Rez coming in. That's huge. Can he defend, though? Scary stuff. Hunter's Fury comes in from B&J, and it's just one player left. Cryptix creeps up the side, straight into B&J's crosshair. Crew saved the day there. That was a close one, though.
Yeah, and even thanks to that, because of the res that came out, it kind of kept Team Liquid in a space of like, oh crap, should we plant? Should we try to go for a fight? They tried to go for the fight instead, and because you have also the Hunter's Fury ready, that just cancels out the lockdown. It made that 2 versus 2 a little bit better there for Crew. In the end, though, like you said, Dan, forcing out the res was nice because you said it was pretty good. Why? Because Team Liquid, they're on a half buy there. So they forced out a lockdown. They got a couple of kills. They're forcing a lot of weapons being bought back for Crew Esports into this round. So this could potentially break the bank for Crew moving into the later rounds, maybe in 1 or 2 more rounds.
And here we go, just looking for that A main control here on Team Liquid this time, going quite heavy into this one.
Yeah.
And we've got Mazzino playing the A side. He's mostly been playing B so far, so this is a switch up. There goes the wall as well to slow things down, and it's very different looking rounds here from both teams. In goes Scream with the run it back, popped immediately. There's the dash into the Cloudburst from Yampy, trying to get that forward position. And he goes down. That's a huge kill from Crew as they look to hold this site. In fact, they've completely deflected Liquid. They can't make their way through the choke point. And at this point, they've been completely routed. I don't know what's left for them to do on this A site.
Yeah, you got to save now, I think, at this point. A 4 versus 2. I mean, you still have 40 seconds. If you're able to punish Crew that wants to overextend, they could maybe turn the round over for Team Liquid. But with that, I don't think it's going to happen. You already see here Soulcast heading back towards the attacker spawn. Actually, with this shrouded step that comes back towards the A main, they could maybe meet up. But like you said, Dan, I feel that they read that perfectly for Crew Esports. This was a typical set play for Team Liquid. We've seen this before. It was the L drone coming out, fall behind it, have actually Yampy try to dash into the side at the same time, and that blaze wall that comes out from Scream. It's always going out towards that right side, so he can try to create like a little wall of surprise, a curveball he could throw, or just try to go for a dry peek from his blaze wall into Heaven side. And the position was just perfect for Crew to cancel all of that and nullify any type of like, look at the X's. They didn't even cross past the entrance of the A site here for Team Liquid, so this was perfectly played.
Yeah, it looks really nice, but
wow, with a recon dart too, it was so good. It was so good for Crew.
Yeah, it's just winning those opening battles against the entry fraggers is just such an impactful moment for Crew, and also just like the fact that they had Mazzino playing A also. Switching up where Mazzino's playing with the Sage has been pretty cool. And Mazzino has been combining with Delzik in the early round to go for these slow orb plus dark cover combos. Pretty cheap combo to gain full control of either B main or A main. That's what's been happening in many of these rounds. This is actually, these are one of the reasons, this might be one of the main reasons why Crew has had such a good read on Liquid's pace and the flow of the round, because they're getting that early control. But I don't think a single time it's been contested, really. So if that continues, Crew are certainly going to remain in the driving seat of this one.
And I mean, continue it that way for sure. I think they're starting to build that confidence at the same time too. And we've seen these matches where even typically you're watching as a fan for Valorant, you're like, okay, Team Liquid versus Crew, Fnatic versus X10. Technically, it should be blowouts on paper, but everybody's being underestimated so far. So to see Crew just bounce back so well and so quickly into the beginning of the second half, or should I say second map, sorry, you want to continue to build up on that. And Team Liquid, I think at this point, I know we have a tactical timeout. They're trying to figure out what they want to do with this buy here, Dan, but there's been a lot of just forced buys every single time right now for Team Liquid, where I feel that we really didn't have a full buy, or I guess with the exception of the previous round, trashed, but I feel that Team Liquid have to slow down a little bit with the economy, and I think this is a perfect way to call that pause from Sliggy, so they could actually calm down the nerves at the same time and just reset in terms of their strategy against Crew, and even the momentum, try to bring that back in their favor.
Indeed, there goes the drone. Next, there's forced back. Yampy, very quick forward position with that Blaze Storm. Azino again, you know, wandering around the map. You don't ever know where he's going to be playing from if you're Liquid. That wall coming up in mid, slowing things down. And BNJ, meantime, with that Odin pressuring B main instead. So that's another kind of difference to how this defense is evolving for Crew. And once again, Liquid going back to old faithful. It's that A-bomb site.
And again, I think this is read perfectly. The round that they went towards the B side, Klaus had his utility towards the B side as well. Now it's towards the A side. I'm pretty sure Klaus is the IGL right now for Crew Esports, so he's doing a very good job at the same time to be able to read it out, and it's going to be Nagzet with the first kill onto Yampy as he was trying to dash into the site.
Such a huge kill to get, and look at how difficult it is now to get through onto the site. In fact, they can't really seem to do it. It's going to be with that wall from Phoenix, from Scream, to make it happen. There's the curveball through that wall, showing the value of Phoenix here. Nagzet repositioning. And this is difficult here for Liquid. They're fairly spread out. They may be isolated from one another here. Scream is on site with Link. Soulcast from A main has Hunter's Fury, so there is actually a lot to play with here.
Yeah.
For Liquids. Very tense.
One way napravio.
That one way. At this point, it's looking quite difficult. BNJ with no shot.
Kako su opet, brate, one way smokeovi, znači.
Absolute money if he had some of those. But they're going to give it up.
Mazzino's still holding towards Catwalk, though. He's looking to make it expensive. He could get some on the exit. There's the first. And there's a second. They did their job. They did their job. So despite losing a round, to still continue to make expensive for TL, as we said, they had pretty much a half buy coming through. They're trying to chase down the last player at the same time. Because you've won so many rounds here on the defense, 4 Crew in a row, the economy's still looking very good. So to chase this down, I'm all for that. But we mentioned it here, Dan, that Blaze Wall, not only from the curveball coming out from Scream, it also allows Link to just book through towards that site and get the plant where they need it to on this post-plant situation, where it doesn't get really wall-banged or not really wall-bangable usually when you're trying to plant in that corner. But that curveball not only flashes towards the doorway, it also flashes towards heaven that allows Link to swing out at the same time too. So good communication for these two to enter the site.
Absolutely agreed. It has been really awesome seeing some of those coordinated movements, the pacing, the trade spacing. And once again, we're seeing Mazzino with these walls in mid now. And here comes the pressure from Liquid to try to deal with that, forcing Mazzino back and taking mid control away from Crew. Now, normally this would suggest a B split.
Correct.
We'll see if that is the name of the game, though, here for Team Liquid.
Well, with the amount of shots that you heard with the wall coming up, the Aldron spawning one towards B main, you're forcing, you're seeing a rotation coming out from Crew at the same time. 2 mid, 2 B, but the noise starting to slow down here.
Ja mislim da teško se hita taj smoke, a?
You're going to have to try to wait for your recon to come out and try to get some information if it's going to be towards this B main inside, because BNJ seems to be fully committed to hold this Odin towards this B site. There you go.
That's a lot of info.
Šta je bolje, Domi? Pa, brate, ne znam.
Yeah, it's...
Mislim da mu je sve jedno na neki način.
The time is going to be low here, so Liquid are not going to have too much time to error correct. Running back goes down straight away, and they're calling a cancel. They're going to rotate back to A, but we still have Nagzet still in position on A main with the operator. This is a great angle. Oh, it's the perfect angle there for Nagzet. Oh, Link as well for 2 kills. Might be more here.
Ja, kako mu skaču.
There's nothing else that they can do.
Za malo dobio još
done everything that's been required. Scream has no time. The round goes to Crew. 6-3 in favor of them, and this is a very different map of Valorant to the first map.
I'm all here for it, Dan. I'm loving it so far, but you could still see the amount of respect that Crew Esports has versus Team Liquid, because as Nagzet is landing these shots,
Fnatic igra, brate, protiv V1, a ko ovdje pobjed igra protiv Team Vikings.
Just to try to make sure
Team
that
Vikings,
they could secure the round. Thankfully, though, we have them dominating this defender side so far too. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see another Killjoy ult sword maybe by the end of the half. But this is beautifully done right now for Crew Esports. They read the run it back. This is twice that the run it back is available for Scream, and he gets stopped immediately into his tracks when he's trying to get into the site, where he cannot create the diversion. He cannot create the fake for them to get the full fake into the sites. Very well done.
Yeah, it's a really good point. You know, I hadn't really thought about that too much. The Scream is not getting value in terms of creating space from that run it back. And in this half-life situation that we're in right now, it's a few Sheriffs and this saved weapon from Scream.
Gubitnikov, glava je peram što priča, brate, najjači ono.
Taking down Soulcast, so there's less numbers to worry about.
Ko ovdje izgubi, ide kući.
Really where the strength is in rounds like this. The team that has less equipment. Nagzet could be in a... Actually, no, he's got assistance on the side.
Yeah.
There it is. Klaus is at assistance. Oh, Cryptus will take him down. So some damage is being done here as Liquid pile into the side. It's looking a little bit scary here for Nagzet because Scream is... He's got the rifle.
Oh, brate.
Really looking comfortable here. Oh,
ja ne mogu da verujem. Šta je on njima uradio, brate?
And you just see how he doesn't care, like the game sets for Nagzet so far under a high pressure matchup. Because think about it, chat fans, this is still an elimination game. So the pressure is high right now for both of these teams. And for Nagzet to just know that Link's coming behind him, but he's like, you know what, I'm going to focus on this 1 versus 1 because I know Scream is going to try to swing out from the shadows, and then he positions himself for a perfect kill onto Link right after like that. It's just really nice to watch. Like, look at how they're cheering each other up at the same time too. That confidence is definitely reigning in here for Crew Esports.
Yeah, it's huge. Liquid do look very stuck at the moment, that's for sure in this half. Maybe the next half will be different. We'll see if they can get themselves a couple extra rounds here. Nagzet moving around will be on the B main peak, able to deal with the drone.
Twice he does that.
It's good to see that not only has Mazino with the Sage and the utility that's offered up with Sage been moving around in these defensive setups round to round, also, of course, with the Operator, Nagzet gets to do the same thing. So there's a lot to worry about for Liquid, and they're going to just explode onto the B site by the looks of things. And Nagzet's repositioned here again if they contact into this. Oh, they're going to use the Paranoia, of course, and there's the punish with Yappy with the dash, but the trade straight back in there from Klaus. 1 for 1, and it looks like Liquid, once again, might be stuck in this choke point. Oh god,
nije ga hitao. Au, gledaj ti ovo, bro.
The spray is wild there, commits all the way, you gotta respect it. But it's not gonna work out for Crew.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
7-4. Još jedna runda minus strana.
Doma je sutra 5. It's like, oh, I just realized I'm a little bit off here on my frag or on my spray with the Odin. He got punished with that for sure. And I was going to say, Scream, after getting that kill, it looks like he wasn't getting enough value off the run it back, but you could already see that off that kill, he already built another run it back after picking up the orb. So I think he's still doing a very good job being able to get a couple of support kills, entry kills, but still trying to create that space when I run it back. That's where it's not necessarily lacking. You have to commend Crew of how good they've been positioning and reading out how it's being played for Team Liquid. With this last round to go, though, Yampy,
koja mapa druga?
He will.
Kako se zove mapa?
Looking for another potential set piece towards this A side, as they have a lot of ultimates to work with for the attack here of Team Liquid.
Yeah, they're really going for this just contact burst style and keeping things simple here. There goes the drone, the wall as well. The run it back is popped as well.
Cancelled right away.
Back is gone again immediately, but there goes Yampy now with the Blaze Storm. Oh, yeah, whipped that one. Klaus with the punish.
Ne, da nije to miso. Da i ovaj miso nože.
Crazy right now. Crew though looking
šta se dešava ovdje, alo?
Still the spike has to be planted here for Link.
Gledaj što je lud. Ali ih je poređao Link, brat.
Oh my goodness, from strength to strength. And Team Liquid, you know, this was looking like a pretty
7-bit
half. They actually managed to cobble together the last couple rounds, making it a 5-7 finish. That's not bad at all.
Definitely not bad, especially now that they have the advantage of taking to the defender side too. I know it's starting to get a little bit more even, depending on the playstyle too, right? You really have to think about playstyle and compositions that sees a little bit more attacker, maybe attacker-sided rounds or defender-sided halves. But at this point, I think for TL, they're definitely comfortable here playing the defender side of this map, of this very own map pick, and to be able to scrape those last 2 rounds, and also to make it 5-7 overall, I think you come out pretty happy with the first half. It looked pretty dire. It didn't look like they were able to do much here with Scream's entries, but following that, it still has been pretty good for Team Liquid when they actually make it into the site for these pulse plants.
Into the pistol we go, and Liquid with a similar approach and just holding onto the tree position on their defense right now, and they have 2 players forward and B main also, so just mostly giving up space towards mid, which is where Crew actually are.
Raid boss again from Yampi. So Frenzy, small shields, doubling up with potential curveball from
Doma je igrao bre pre sat vremena je završio.
Here come the trace into the sights. Oh, it's looking good for Crew. 3 kills straight away for them. Spike planted as well. It's going to be tough for Soulcast and Link, although 3 players are quite weak for Crew. You might as well give it a go on the pistol. There goes that recon for Soulcast. Immediately dealt with. And it's looking quite difficult here. You know, Soulcast, you can see he's worried about that push from A main. There's so many things to worry about. They're going to try to clear one position at a time together. And B&J is doing exactly the correct move. It's making them run as far as possible. And now maybe, oh, okay, B&J is actually going to get a kill out of that. Surely not both of them. Indeed, Link's going to take him out.
And I'm okay with, okay, this is smart, because I was just saying, you don't have to chase him down. Right now, you could potentially give more money, more orbs for Link. At the same time, just let him die with the spike, just so that you don't give him the opportunity of getting from the shadows for information a lot faster here on the defender side. But this was actually a very nice run by the attacker side of Crew Esports into the site, because you see it, they crept up slowly towards this mid side. I would assume that they poked and dropped the ALOO drone from Soulcast quite early into the round to allow for them to surprise the 2 defenders inside B main by rushing into the market after the wall. So Crew playing it slowly into this into that round to eventually burst into the site has caught DL by surprise.
Oh, hello. Klaus wins the battle there in B main. That's a huge early victory.
Yeah. On another force buy, mind you, here, Dan.
Pa da, gledaj, na primjer, da nema Astra.
Interesting here to see how Liquid want to try and deal with.
Meni je čudno što ljudi igra Icebox bez Sage.
Cryptics
to nisam očekivao da će se vidi.
Leti,
danas se desilo.
Completely given up B.
Ma da igra u 5 ujutru, šta je sama? Sutra u 17 časova.
Defense possible here on catwalk with this judge. And it looks like Crew are going to be moving straight into this.
Caution here.
At least I think it's all going to be towards A main. I think understanding that it's dangerous, that they could potentially play against shotguns into this round, especially after they won that 1v1 in the beginning of the round, and seeing that there was a Spectre invested, going all into A main is so smart.
Naxxed straight on top of Gen. Love to see it. Team Liquid struggling here to get the kills that they want. In fact, everybody's still standing for Crew at the moment. With the judge. Well, absolutely denied by that door.
And there you go. You're forced to try to retake with a judge at long range.
Ja
or you have to dash into the site to make things expensive. You've invested a lot into this round, and he's even invested into small shields. So for Yampi, if he could try to come out of it unscathed, it would be nice.
Još ga hitom fino, a? A nije ga hitom fino. Jebot, ja vidim da mu dao glavu.
Fantastic round from Crew. As you say, you know, they did a good job in actually resetting into that A main push. That was a good call. It is really scary because, you know, they cut noise and they lost a lot of information to do it. So, you know, it's really hard to say, you know, what Liquid's actually doing with their weapons, but they managed to avoid all the dangers, and they're 9-5 right now. That's awesome to see. Crew looking good.
100%.
And we get the half buy from Team Liquid's Cryptics on the Nova.
En zich kwaad en dat is toch een vette.
Listen, I said counter at the same point too, Dan. I think we're just rubbing off each other at this point. So yeah, the Bucky coming out from Cryptics. I mean, it's not too bad. You're buying the Bucky right now. You don't have any shields. You should be okay to buy into the next round too. But look at this, just a random spray through the dark cover, and it catches Yampy down at 34 HP. So you're just expecting these type of slow pushes, knowing that you're going to be on these low buys on Team Liquid, that you might try to play a little more aggressively, trying to catch your opponents off guard, and they're just, again, it's the reading rainbow. It's a pop-up book right now for Crew Esports on this map.
Yeah, and I would always be, I think the advice that I think is always valuable in spots like this for Crew is like, you know, what is the scenario in which we give up our lead? You know, really is allowing there to be kills early on from Team Liquid with these Sheriffs, but nothing's really been given by Crew. They haven't overpeaked anything. They've been keeping the Sheriffs. I think the Sheriffs have fired a shot. That's a good sign. That Crew are doing what they need to be doing here. Now they're trying to just barrel into the B side altogether. Really smart moves there. Don't spread out. Don't split up. Cryptics there at the back with the Bucky. Able to find one. Gets a lot of damage, but just the one kill. Spike goes down, and that spells trouble here for Liquids. It's going to be hard to retake with these Sheriffs.
Yeah, and they're all turned up inside the site as well. And this, I'm okay with it as well if Liquid wants to let them die and go for exits. But for Crew, I don't mind them dying too, because it's a bonus round for them.
Uh-oh, the paranoia comes through. Oh, the hot hands as well. BNJ able to that, but the headshots coming through.
That's loaded.
Oh my god.
Triple one tap se desio upravo ono u isto vreme. Šta?
They're definitely gonna... yeah, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I was just gonna say, it seemed like they each selected a different target and each landed all at the same time.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, because the timing of usually when you shoot a Sheriff, it's pop, pop, pop. And you look at this, it's going to be pop, pop, pop on 3 different names and 3 different kills. Exactly the right timing of landing one Sheriff shot every single time. The one taps coming out from Yampy. That was just so clean right there for Team Liquid. And they actually managed to secure the round. On top of that, that's a heartbreaker round for Crew Esports.
Oh, it felt like they did so many things right there. You just can't account for those kinds of rounds. You just got to hold your hands up and you just got to take those sometimes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It is what it is. Get straight back on the horse, and right now, Crew moving pretty fast actually up middle.
Yeah, and the buy's still low though for Liquid, despite them winning that on Sheriffs only, right? So you see how much was invested into that second round for the defender side.
And the spike did go down at least, so that's some extra cash that went the way of Crew. And I love the fast pace into just cut noise. They took that early space in mid. They dealt with some utility. They also
oni brate igraju 4
some additional utility, and now they just hold.
Zanimljivo.
Look how spread out they are, Dan. They have actually some pretty good positioning for Team Liquid. Yampy in the entrance right now could dash away if he misses. They have Link inside 1 if you're looking at that mini-map. They're in good positions to catch Crew off guard. And that's a great way to start things off to push them back.
Straight into a fast maneuver through Catwalk towards the A side. Liquid do have players here. That's a fantastic paranoia getting sent through by Link. That's going to slow things down. The hot hands as well to make matters worse. And then an eyesore. There's just so much delay coming through here against Crew. And they don't have time for this. Making their way up through the window to try to find a way onto the site. Trying to clear some kind of a
paranoia, brate. Molotov, ja ne znam. Ali gled, i uspjeli su doći na saj dobiti 2 lika, pazite.
Time is a problem right now. Crew are still trying to get their way onto the site. Soulcast denies the spike plot. A second kill. Every kill there from Liquid right at the end.
Majko moja, kakve 2 runde, ono šta je ovo?
It shows where it's a series of unfortunate events, because that slow orb that was thrown and that slowed them down was actually from their own teammate. Because they thought a push was going to come in from Garden, they had everything set up to get into the doorway, into the A site. But now, time is of the essence. Time is against you. A hot hands gets thrown on the ground. A paranoia came also from A main. They're like, oh crap, it's a crossfire set up into the A site. Can we go through heaven? No, unfortunately we can't, because we slowed ourselves down. We also allowed for TL to actually get the rotate over from the spawn side in from B. And this is a crucial timeout right now that is definitely needed for Crew Esports, just due to the fact that on two consecutive rounds, where it was 2 lower buys in terms of the economy for Team Liquid, and it's still converted into round wins. And you're catching up right now on your defender side for Team Liquid, taking the, like I said, the easier side right now for Team Liquid's map. Crew needs to figure something out right now.
Yeah, they definitely do, and Liquid's at the same time, I'm curious, if they're going to try to mix things up here, because oftentimes when you expect a team, taking a tactical, you're thinking, okay, they're going to change something. You can decide to go really aggressive just to really just take the initiative. So if they had a plan, you kind of just blow it up right from the get-go. Yeah. And that's something that we actually saw Liquid doing on Split. They did that with an A main aggression later into that one after a tactical from Crew. So maybe they'll do that same thing again. We'll have to see. And Sliggy looks kind of like the evil Sliggy, like a Sith Lord version of Sliggy in a black mask. It's just.
I was gonna say, like, did he dye his hair black too going into this event? I mean, he's straight up looking like a snack right now for this event. Big shout out to Sliggy. This round, though, the timeout comes back, right? So we're about to resume the round number 17. I feel that right now, trying to get control towards A main and try to give this orb from Azino is already going to be a great start, so that he could potentially have a res into the next round when they have the ultimates to work with. So try to waste out the utility, try to pull them back right now for Team Liquid to turtle back into the site, get this orb, and then figure out what you want to do. And actually, it's invested into, screw it, let's just go with the Hunter's Fury and Bladestorm and immediately go and take the offensive right away off this timeout.
Oh my god. Scream very confident there. Nagzet is missing those knives, unfortunately. That right click, that's what he needed to land. And that's the most dangerous player out of the round, effectively.
Yep. Just off straight utility, right? It was a Bladestorm that was there, and whoop, okay. The Frenzy's gonna help a bit.
Oh wow, he actually dinked up Link as well. But yes, it is just a save round here from Crew, so not too much going their way. Quick 180 there. And there we go. 8-9 as Liquids start to close the gap on the scoreboards. And this is what the tactical really was for, this next buy round.
Correct. I think it's, let's try to figure out what investment we can use right now. I'm not opposed to the Bladestorm into the Hunter's Fury just to try to take control of Tree and see if the Bladestorm could actually amount to a round victory here for Crew Esports. But a right click, it didn't connect onto screen. But you're looking at this round right now, we're still 2 away from getting an ult for Soulcaz, which will be a perfect moment for Klaus to actually use his lockdown and enable Crew to get into his site. With a From the Shadows, this is a perfect play for a B-side take.
Good tag coming through from B&J there. That's going to secure the orb pickup. That's an ult now for Mazzino. He needed that 1 point. Now there is the Resurrect online as well. Crew loss of presence towards A so far. Definitely suggesting to Liquid that there's something going on there. Liquid actually might be going for a play here. Yeah, they've got the drone. They are just retaking the A main position. Great maneuver. This is going to have Liquid an advantage on information now. They're going to know exactly what's going on.
They could even start rotating back right away. You could see it right now.
Come on, literally beat the res
so that once it gets bloody into the site for Crew, they could res up at the same time. But that's lockdown's going to come. You're going to have to From the Shadows at the same time too. But they have really good utility to start delaying right off the get-go and then have the rotate come right out for Team Liquid.
Waiting patiently here for go time. That lockdown expires. Now Liquid trying to see if they can slow this one down into the site. Huge flank coming through as well from Yampi through to B main. There is a turret that's been smoked there, so now it's all onto Liquid, trying to coordinate their efforts there. They've got a few points of attack. Market, Spawn, and soon to be B main as well.
Scream. It's got to be off screen. Once they get positioning, I wouldn't be surprised if a run it back comes out at the same time too. There you go.
There it is. You called it, and are they able to trade off of that? Looks like they will. 2 kills going there. Mazzino able to trade 1 back though, as will B&J. So
Ali ovo su uzvratili odmah, brat.
Jampi,
okej, 2-2.
As he tries to swing on through, and it's up to Mazzino now, swinging across.
Au,
Yappy's there,
brat.
and Yappy will take him down, and there's just enough time to get this defuse in.
Stiž.
Oh, it's so
Au,
close
brat.
though.
Drži. Koliko?
Oh, so
1.32.
to cure it, and they tie up the score 9-9. And again, if you are just joining us here, this lower bracket match, Crew are fighting for their tournament life. They lost the first map. They got absolutely crushed on split by Liquid. And they are showing a great game here so far, but it is starting to look like Liquid are beginning to take over.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, they invested into grabbing the orb here for the res for the attackers on a Crew Esports, and in a 2-versus-1, Mazzino wasn't in a position where he could actually assist for maybe a bait res, something towards the back of the site, right? Because they had time in their favor. Die with the spike, it doesn't matter. Get the round. This is what you want here for Crew Esports, and also not having to From the Shadows invested in the back of the site. That could have been something very good to allow Dell to take early map control. But let's cross that out. It's going to be Crew Esports looking to explode into the A site.
Oh, they're going straight from the dark cover. S going to connect the screen. Beautiful stuff here. Link, though, takes down Naxet. Amazing stuff here so far from Liquid, deflecting this attack. Scream is tapping the heads. That's what he does. That's who he is. And that's Liquid with the 10th round now on the board as they deflect that contact through that smoke. I love the mix-up from Crew, but Liquid was somehow so ready for it.
Yeah, I think now the story falls back in the hands of Team Liquid. As much as I wanted to commend Crew Esports of how they were so good at reading Team Liquid on the attack, this was perfect for the same thing for Team Liquid in the end. To have
moguće s tokom beka, bilo 9-6 ljudi. Jedna, dve, tri, 5 rundi za redom su uzeli.
And while he's affected by that paranoia, to have Link get the first few kills, have the opponents focus on Link after on the kill, and then Scream comes out right after when he's not wide in. This is just some nice back and forth in terms of supporting teammates into the A site here for Team Liquid. So now they regain the lead off this half, off this series at the same time, and Crew, at least they have again the res and a full buy into this round because they're at the max bonus.
And you can see the mix-up of positioning here. Scream hanging on. Oh my god, Klaus!
Okay.
Fantastic shooting from him. Definitely not an easy frag to get. And against Scream, of course. And that's an early win here for Crew. The lockdown there to deny any fast push. So that's a huge win for Crew. Not only getting the kill, but also forcing out the lockdown.
That's right. And you're hiding away from the Allen drone, and now they have no information from Team Liquid. So with one player behind, somebody's going to have to force a hand. It's going to have to be potentially Yappy peeking out on this catwalk or playing it close. If not, it's just going to be very hard for the defenders to hold and even to retake after that. And it seems to be the latter. They're going to force the hand right now for the attackers into the site, but these nano swarms are going to be huge.
Oh no, Team Liquid doing a fantastic job to deny this one. Klaus is on another level though, takes down Cryptix, giving just enough space for Delzik to win the fight against Soulcast for the spike plant. 2 versus 2 as Yampy and Link come in to try to retake this one. Yampy's going to go down. Klaus again is having such an incredible game. What a display of skill so far. Link with the next challenge here, but against 2 players. Looking for the trade, he's based it out. Link!
My God.
That's incredible there from Link!
Jebote, ne mogu da verujem.
Liquid again picking up another round. I cannot believe that Link just did that.
So many praise this man because he's been one of those key players as well for Team Liquid. Looking through the qualifiers to help TL qualify into the Masters 2. The Red Bull clutch coming on his side. The Red Bull clutch is that he's done, and he continues to demonstrate that in this event. And like I said, it was going to be a very impossible or a much harder task for this retake to happen for Team Liquid, just due to the fact that they're not forcing the hand and not trying to regain map control for the defender side to know exactly where the hit is coming from. So as Crew Esports are running their pistol round on a 5 versus 2 inside the site, it still comes down to like great and better positioning for the pulse plant for the attacker side. And Link just did a great job to negate a 2 versus 1 swing and take the advantage off 2 individual 1 versus 1s.
Yeah, early presence and control from Liquid here on A main, and they now feel the presence towards catwalk. Yampy, though, is in a great position. There is definitely a world here where he does not get flash or anything, gets just a straight up peek. from an opponent, and that would be a decisive moment.
Pa da, niko zamislio. Ajde Imke, ja idem isto kad završava mapa.
Oh my god, Access ready for it!
Kakav one tap ovako.
Twice he absolutely ready for it. And look at Scream go, run it back straight through Gelato into top mid to get that information, and Crew, they are long gone. They are long gone. And here goes Cryptix, able to find the spike. The second kill comes his way, that's not a bad result.
2 kills. Ja.
Oof, so
na kraju, alo.
able to find that one. That's a huge, huge pickup.
Yeah, and that's spiked down at the same time too. They have still the killjoy utility on the B side. This is such a great hold for Team Liquid.
12-9, braćo.
Beautiful finish there from Soulcast.
Ne mogu da verujem.
That is it. Game
Ne
point now for
mogu
Team
da
Liquid.
verujem da
Another
su
round
7
where
rundi
it
za
really
redom.
looked like Crew had done a lot right. But it's just that extra kill that Cryptix got, and then obviously losing the spike in a position such as market. Just these small edges that Liquid are winning are really making all the difference.
And they're running back too to force the hand and let Team Liquid know, let's get ready. The hit's going to come towards this, this B side. When also you're not ready for Crew Esports for a run it back, then you kind of just want to run away from that one too. So it's nice that Scream just off that funneled everybody back towards a heavy defense, and that starts things off very well to win the series for Team Liquid.
Instant rest coming through though for Crew. That does at least even things up, and strangely that does give advantage to Crew. But Link, if he finds the timing on this peak and gets the kill and gets away with it, that would be an enormous problem for Crew.
Yeah.
Will they be cognizant of this angle from Link? Trying to play an off angle here, trying to be unexpected with his peak. And just Link seeing nothing also tells Liquid a huge amount as to what Crew are doing.
And you're just walking back potentially to a heavy nanoswarm setup off the sidewalk from Cryptix. This has been a thorn on the side of Crew Esports. Whenever they're hitting towards this B side, you don't see them dashing, or, well, they can't dash right now as Nagz's dead. But with them trying to get across towards the switch onto the staircase, just going through the sidewalk has been damaging for them so far.
And there's Thunder's Fury to deny the lockdown. Yappy pulls out the blades as well, looking for the moment to go. But already Liquid are in a great position. Yappy actually gets detained. In fact, 2 players from Liquid are detained. Cryptix backside. Can he get out of this in time? Are they going to find him? Yes, they'll get him. They won't take down Yappy, but with that detain, they have the site under control. BNJ in a critically important position. Leaps through with the blades. And there it is. Straight in the face. Delzik goes down. Yappy with the defuse. Liquid have locked it in. A 2-0 victory against Crew, eliminating them here from this tournament from Masters to Reykjavik. And Liquid, as expected, will be moving forward.
Well, was it that expected at the same time here, Dan? Because when you looked at how that played on that second map, it looked so promising for Crew to bring it back. Even Cryptix is saying almost at that point. What I'm guessing is that that was a stressful match for the team. But yes, unfortunately here for B&J and company of Crew Esports, they are walking away and unfortunately out of the tournament. But you could definitely walk out of the stage very proud. They brought it to the distance against Team Liquid on that second map when it looked like it was going to be Team Liquid all the way. And the chances of Crew unfortunately trying to bring this to a third map unfortunately falls. And maybe it is that in the end, once you found your footing here on the defender side here, Dan, it was going to be Team Liquid all along.
Yeah, it is really impressive though. You know, I totally agree. There's so much talent coming from so many of these regions that we've less experience in covering and watching, and seeing them get to interact on the server against teams like Liquid, who we've got lots of experience with, is truly interesting. And it really just highlights how much talent there is out there, and that as these regions grow, it's going to be kind of insane. I can't even imagine what the Crew are going to look like in a few months, let alone a year. This game moves so quickly, but I just think it's going to be so promising. I feel like what we're getting right now, this North American and sort of European dominance that we've been seeing, I feel like that's not going to last for a very long time going into the future.
Yeah, but I think at the same time to focus back on this tournament too, Dan, when you're looking at the fan base and what we expected going into the tournament in the end, maybe you're actually right. It was going to be a Team Liquid win after all, because now when you look at what's remaining or who's remaining, it's Sentinels, New Turn, Version 1, Fnatic, Team Liquid, and Vikings. So the dark horses are still here. The potential best regions are also here as well.
Comeback,
and I think starting from now until the rest of the week, you're expecting some bangers, Dan.
Absolutely, and as you guys can see, Team Liquid very happy they will live to fight another day, whilst crew are eliminated from Masters Reykjavik. So it is time for us to say goodbye, myself and Vensili, but you guys will be joined by the desk after the break, and also Scream in the Verizon post-match interview, so stay tuned.
Kako da raidamo? Možda mogli za Adera, njemu trebaju sati. On ga traje harda. Ljudi, hvala što ste gledali stream. Mi se vidimo sutra oko 1 sat. Tako da znate. Laku noć. Šalja vas kod Zedera. GG's. Dobri gameovi su bili danas.